Hello again. What you're about to see is a bunch of good poker players sharing their knowledge, wisdom, some jokes, and other bullshit, discussing some cool hands that came out of the week 2 of the Cash Game World Championship. First up, we got Prodigy and Sea Llama jumping on the call for me for an hour or so. Then Chris Wynn joins. He's also competing in the event. He shares his perspective on some hands, including some of his own. And then the mystery man, the end boss of mid stakes, Mr. Builderman, comes on at the end, and he also goes over a bunch of hands with me. So enjoy.
Okay, poker.
We got a good one to start, actually. We got a great one. You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Rod, you see screen?
Yeah. Yep. I'm locked in. Play cards.
Lama, have you seen a lot of Prodigy's hands? Do you already
Uh,
know him?
I know some of them. I don't
Okay.
know.
If you haven't seen this one, then Prod, don't say anything. Let Llama have a look.
Oh yeah. I remember this already.
All right,
Yeah, I
cold,
haven't
cold
seen this one.
formants. All right, talk us through, man. What are you thinking here? SPI like 3.5 or something?
Me? Want me to talk?
Yeah, man. Tell us how it's done.
I think we just range bet this board. I'd probably just B40.
B40
Maybe.
mints. Let's have a peek.
Yeah.
It's some sort of small bet. Quarter mints.
Yeah, that's whatever. I'd probably B40, especially this hand. I'm guessing Owen wants to make sure he is balancing his quarter range, so whatever.
And now?
Honestly, I'm guessing Owen FPSs this somehow. But with aces here, I am just going to pile. Really not going to do much else.
What kind of sizing would you look for out of interest?
I don't think I have all ins here. Maybe if it was like 6, 4, 3. But with the 6, 5, 3, I probably don't play all ins. I think I just play Geo.
All right. Something like this.
Yeah.
And now? Anything to discuss?
I think if I was going to trap a hand, I guess, not having a diamond is a good thing, so that Matt can bluff diamonds. But I would probably want to have a king in my hand so that I don't, because that's blocking the calling range. When I don't have a king in my hand, I'm just going to probably blast aces in.
I have scammed you.
Okay.
He bets one blind. Did you misclick, or is this a retarded play against Matt for fun?
That's definitely a misclick.
When I'm in a big pot versus Marinelli, I know that it doesn't really matter what I do, I'm going to stack him. So we've got a lot of options on the river. It's all going to end in me getting all the money. So yeah, like why not throw in the misclick?
Marinelli jams ace king or king queen.
Yeah.
Imagine if you induced from some trash here, though. That would have been hilarious.
Oh, yeah. When he ripped, God, I was so wishing, I was like, I really wish he had something dumb as well. Like, if he had a hand which should have checked back, like, if he has, like, 7-6 or, like, 5-4 and he ripped it, that would have been so perfect. But yeah, him just having ace-king, I don't think it really matters. Yeah.
And no question for him, he just has to shove.
I mean, you could soul read this as a misclick. Like genuinely, if he soul read this, it's me misclicking, thinking I was shoving, and then he thinks I have aces, ace king, and bluffs. You could just call this.
I kind of second that. I low-key think calling is not that bad.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you saw read the misclick, it's pretty reasonable to call. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think this was the hand which convinced me to get rid of Duration. And I was like, okay, I'll stop fucking using it.
Yeah, it's caused a lot of problems actually. I don't know if you saw the Stambolov thing. He lost some random pot because he had table
Yeah.
popped up and closed the table he had the nuts on.
He felt it was it versus Kaihan.
Yeah.
Kaihan runs so good, man.
Kayan was bluffing with some dust as well, well on the river.
Oh my god! Even when you have the nuts, Kaihan still gets the fold. Wow.
It's
Yeah.
actually nuts. It's
Total
actually
sickle.
nuts how good that guy runs. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Let's have a look at a hand that you guys may have seen. If you've seen it, maybe allow the other person to comment first.
I mean, I've seen this. I already know the hand. Kier, have you seen it?
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
You have
I
a
saw
peek
pop
here.
up with nines, and I was like, I know where this is fucking going.
I'm where it's going to.
Now, I mean, it's hard not to spoil with such commentary, but anyway, it's fine. We're going to see a small bet. Cool.
Look, if top up doesn't check raise the turn, then that means top up's not folding the river. That's literally how this hand's gonna go.
You're correct. He's going to face a massive overbet on turn, a 2.5e almost, 2.4, whatever.
To be fair, blockers like can't be mad at this.
What-
Yeah, and he just patience.
What do you think of this idea to call here? And in general, what is Rigged really saying that he has after flatting pre-flop and blind v blind? Like, can he even have
Rigged is
like
just saying he has queen 9 or 9-7.
right? It's in, but do those hands want a 3x rip on the Kong? Like, are they scared at all of the other bullshit, or just a cooler if you beat?
I would
God.
probably. I mean, I'm definitely shoving queen 9. 9-7. Yeah, I'm probably shoving
What?
that too.
Sorry, what was it? Top up 3x pre, and then
Yep.
rig just calls, and then what check calls.
Yeah. Top up
I mean,
check call small on flop.
I mean, if you have 9-7, and also he went like 2.5x on the turn, it's not even certain that ace queen calls. It's only drawing to the nuts on one end, right? Like
I'm
hitting
pretty
a
sure.
9.
Calls. I don't see top up folding ace queen, really.
Okay, I mean, yeah, like, but yeah,
I mean,
I
maybe he
mean,
calls
Solver might be a bit timid with a straight here because like this deep out of position is like check calling straights or whatever to protect their range, but you know, 9-7 jamming here is not unreasonable.
Yeah, I'd probably jam 9-7. Honestly, if I had eights,
And
If you have
fours?
8, unblock the pair plus straight blocker.
Mm.
Printing jam.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice not having the 9 of clubs. I guess.
Does it really make a difference? A lot of nines are going to barrel. Or do you think for the massive sizing, it's relevant that he's got the 9 of clubs?
You barrel 9 of clubs more on the turn, but the other 9s will pure follow through river, whereas like the 9x of clubs will mix the river.
So I guess it ends up being probably pretty neutral.
Yeah, I think against a good player, they're supposed to make you indifferent between all the different 9x blockers.
I don't know though. I feel like after Rig chooses that turn sizing, I feel like after anyone chooses
Well,
that
it
turn
might
sizing,
be, yeah, it's easy
they're
to
just
pick that size if you have the really big draw.
well, there's that, but then there's also the like they're going to put it in. They've already decided that they're selling that they have a straight. You know, 9 of clubs or not.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean like I don't know. It seems if you have double blockers to a straight and the guy says I only have straights, then why don't we call?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty legit call down. Like 9 has to be the best calling combo in range here, right? Like, I mean,
no. I think queens would be
there
better.
might even be something in Solver where you jam some hand which is ahead of 9s to reduce the EV of calling 9s. Like 10-9 might jam or something. to make them call some linear combos. Like
I feel like
should
queens is a better calling hand by a fair margin,
queens?
actually.
How's queens? Oh, well, because you unblock bluffs.
You unblock bluffs and you block the queen nine. I think queens is just going to be better.
Does it depend how much he shoves 9-7 for whether queens is better or not?
Maybe.
With queens, you only
Obviously,
block half the value combos, and like they're gonna bluff a queen off here sometimes. Like this is not only a 9 because they
I
don't
don't
have
know.
offsuit 9x combos. Like how do they have an offsuit 9? It's only ace 9, which is often gonna check back flop. So it's only suited combos of 9s, whereas like they can have some like queen 7 off. But I mean, I guess not queen 6 off, but queen 7 off will just like ship it here a lot. That's still double straight blockers.
I think, yeah, so there's some queen 7 off, but aside from that, I don't think there's really, I don't know. I think queens is going to be slightly better, but maybe I'm wrong.
So would you guys list this as not actually as crazy of a call as it looks?
It seems pretty.
Yeah,
I would
I
probably
mean,
make this call too.
once you remove any fear that in position is doing some mergy stuff with a 10 or a jack, I think like 9s is like okay, whether it's 9s or queens, it's up there as the first hands you consider calling because this just has to be a straight plus, right?
Well, what I mean, he could have 8s or 4s. Is
Like,
he that scared of a
No
check calling
fours.
top set?
They're a lot more dangerous. Like double check hit top up, like check calling twice with top set is like this deep as well. Like set 8 starts losing to a few more combos, and when you're super deep, like even though those sets are going to be fractional because like they might bet the flop and they might check raise the flop or something like that, but like they would pure call the turn once they got there. I think against 2.5x pot with so much left to play because they're not really trying to play for stacks.
True.
And then 8s is actually getting kind of thin because they have to defend so few combos for like we're getting in. What's the SPR on flop? It's like a 40 SPR. So by the time it gets in, like 8s feels kind of on the thin side.
Yeah,
I think the point is like if rigged is jamming worse than a straight, it's like he's definitely doing it as like it's a value trick, and I think like that's all you can assign him. So 9s really only loses to a value trick, and then the nuts, which you double block. So it can't be that bad.
Yeah, I think Prodigy's Queen 10, 10-9 type of weird semi-value, semi-bluff.
No, that's
It
bot shit. People don't really find that.
that's cool
Yeah, no,
though. That really makes a lot of sense because
you
otherwise
see it in
you give the
flop.
guy kind of an obvious decision when he has this hand, even though it looks sort of crazy at first.
Yeah, I mean, like those are the kind of hands where it's like once you get used to seeing them in the solver, it's just like oh, like this fuckery again. But like they're so hard for humans to hit, like because they're like so fragile. If you get wrong what the exact combo is you're trying to make indifferent, like say llama's right and like they're pure calling like queens and then like 9s is just folding the river and then you shove 10-9 as this weird merge to make 9s indifferent and it's just a mega punt, and it's like it's so easy to make those mistakes. But yeah, I mean, like people are welcome to try this stuff. It can end in tears though. I mean, Llama has a really famous hand actually versus Linus where he jams like fourth pair and Linus calls fifth pair. And he maintains that he knew Linus would fold better and call his fifth pair. Like, and
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
I don't think anyone's believed him so far. So
No, I said I think he folds the river 6x of spades and like could call like, ace 4 or whatever. That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
reasonable.
I mean,
That
maybe.
and like maybe he folds like the pocket 8s, pocket 9s on the turn.
Do you have the hand history for the fans who may be wanting?
Yeah, it was what, Jack 5-4, turn king, river 6.
What
Is that right?
positions?
It was heads up,
Okay.
and Linus bets the flop, like
Segura's pot,
probably
3-bet pot.
3-bet pot. I have 5-3. He bets the flop. I don't actually remember. Probably like half.
Yeah, Jack 5. Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought you were
It was Jack
getting
5-4. Maybe he bet quarter, honestly. Turn was the king, and he B75s, and I think turn brought in the flush draw, or there was flush draw on the flop. I actually don't really remember. And then river was the 6 offsuit, and he checks, and I jammed 5 there, 5-3 there, because I was like, well, I think I can get him to fold like 9-6 of spades, or like 7-6 of spades, 8-6 of spades, and then like maybe like pocket 8s, pocket 9s, and then like I was like, I feel like he might call like the bottom pair ace-4. I mean, I don't know. Like, if you don't believe me, you don't have to believe me. But I've done it. I've done it to this guy like a couple times. I did it in this challenge where I jammed 6s and got called by 6-5.
No, that one I believe you. That one was fucking on point. But like, that
Okay,
was not.
thanks for believing me sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, because the other one you were lying, so I don't.
Look,
You
man,
jammed as a bluff. You jammed as a bluff. He called worse, and then you went, "Look how smart I am."
it wasn't that like I wanted him necessarily to call worse. It was I really wanted him to fold the fucking 6, and I wouldn't be surprised if he called like ace queen, like good blockers, or like a fucking 4, like but 6, like the rivered 6 is like with the spade a lot, and so I expected him to fold, and I could see him calling worse sometimes, and I had those thoughts, and I maintain that, and you can shut the fuck up now.
We should do like a little poll to see if people believe him.
Who gives a fuck?
Has anybody seen this hand?
No, I haven't.
No.
You can see check, check on flop. Blind be blind.
Yeah, I like check, check.
Anyone want to raise here?
Yeah,
Wait, why is Davey betting the size, Owen?
because he's saying he has an 8.
Can we bet the turn here for an 8?
I mean, there's gonna be like.
Well, Peter
9-8,
doesn't have any 9s, 10s, jacks, right?
like pocket 9s.
And 8's pretty decent, and he's also got a lot of kings through 9s too.
I mean, it might like the solver might not be the biggest fan just because it's like the board's so dynamic that in position might have a very easy time finding floats.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think it's reasonable. Like,
I mean, they both play flop polar, so it feels like.
I mean, also,
betting
yeah,
small.
there's lots of 8x in his range to play to, like, and the top pairs are so dense in both players on an ace high board that you have to size down quite a bit if you want to bet those 8x.
What size does Davey use on the flop here? Do you know?
He's small, I think. I don't think he's a big fan of polar BBB.
He does do polar a lot, even though this is a small board. I don't know.
So isn't it more like ace plus Broadway? I mean, I'm not sure. We could get out the DB.
I mean, yeah, but like I think when he has like the connected kind of ace, I don't know, whatever.
Maybe
So okay,
like ace 8-7, he might be more polar on than ace 8-5. This one feels a bit more small bet.
yeah, I mean, I agree that the board feels more small, but I thought he played big on this board. Anyways, whatever. Okay, he goes small.
Ace 9 feels like a pretty high frequency raise.
I like both. Yeah, I like both.
It's just doing so well against calling range. Because like Davey, if he bets a hand like, Jack 8 no draw, he's in a bit of an awkward spot and might fold it. But if he bets a hand like 9-8, he obviously bet calls. So you're crushing lots of those hands. And also when you are beat, you've got so much extra equity. You can hit your 2 pairs, some counterfeits if they have like a 2 pair that you're ahead of, but also the straights, of course. And if they decide to free bet into you, you have like the combo draw part of their, like, I don't know, the Jack 9 of clubs is now just the Jack high flush draw. Well, I mean, it's drawing to some chops, but those hands have a lot less equity when you're like raise calling this hand than like an ace Jack.
I mean, I think personally, I'm probably playing this spot a bit more polar actually than ace nine. I think ace nine and raising ace nine here is more of like an FPS thing, but it's fine.
Am I gonna have to get out of solver?
I mean, I'm just saying how I play it. Feel free to look
You
into the
also,
solver.
you block the double barrel bluffs as well with the 9 of diamonds. You block the hands which are gonna bluff into you on river. So then,
I mean, I'd rather fucking raise ace nine of clubs, but whatever.
well, I mean, I would much rather raise ace 9 of clubs because it's a way harder easy chance. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think this spot we play more polar. Like I don't know. It's whatever, dude.
Yeah, I also think solver mid-hand discussion kind of sucks. You know, let the solver be for the person watching on the replayer to test whether you guys are as sick as everybody thinks, you know?
Okay, yeah, but please do, and then tell me how wrong Llama was.
He's going to go for the call, though, like which I
You're
assume
right, man.
is at least fine for a frequency. It's not going to be a pure raise,
I
right?
prefer call. I prefer call.
Oh, we're getting better.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, can we just call
No,
again? Just
don't
call.
do it.
Just call. 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 Just call.
Wouldn't you rather raise to induce though if you thought you had a good hand to call a bet 3-bet?
No, but
No,
it's
we
like,
don't.
it's
We
not
don't.
the read. The read is not the like. Okay,
We're gonna
I
get
mean,
bluffed
also,
off our hand.
this is quite influenced by the fact that we're going through hands like this. You know, when you're going through hands where something funny happened, and you sit there and go, "Well, there's no way that Petter just like raised to like 1K and Davey flicked in the call, right?"
Yeah, of course
No,
not.
I think Petter calls, and it's a sick fucking call. That's what I think.
Well,
That's what I think.
firstly, what do you think of this decision sizing wise? Standard?
It seems about right. Yeah, could go a bit.
I'm going key. What did he raise to?
Uh,
He raised
Davey
about
bet
36.
30% and he raised, I don't know, like 80% pot or something.
Look, man, I don't have a solver up, but I wouldn't be surprised if solver's just like fuck you and calls. Yeah. Well, now. Yeah, this is so fucking stupid. Look, man, we knew when he bet the small on the turn or on the river. I knew.
I'm not sure we did. I'm not sure we did.
The
I feel like
thing, it's very like Prod
Nah.
said, you know, because it's a hand history in this format, we're never going to show a hand that's just like bet fucking min raise, call with worse, end of hand.
I think that if you play against David, like there is also the fact that it's against Davey, and like you know that like you know, okay, sure, he will have the reasonable value hands for this line, but like you know, he's not gonna let you off the hook just by blocking and then playing a call or fold game tree. And I think sometimes what happens is the guys who are like bet free betting a normal amount will like stand out so much that they feel like complete fucking psychopaths because everyone else is like you know, like sometimes they'll find it but sometimes they won't, whereas like Davey's like, you know, Davey's not letting you get away with this shit. You know, if you have a mixed value raise and you full frequency raise it against Davey, and then like you often feel the pain at the end of just like, oh, why the fuck am I here?
Do you think the 9 of diamonds is bad?
So, okay, so there's this weird thing which goes on here where like, okay, so out of position is supposed to avoid bluffing with clubs or spades, and then what happens is like, so in position will then start raising the missed flush draws as bluffs.
Mm-hmm.
Then out of position wanting to unblock their bluffs will then go back to raising, you know, just like the rainbow ones. So you'd probably slightly rather have the other ones. But then they match their straights as well, because if they block, if Davey has 9-7 with spades and clubs, he's blocking bluff raises, so it's more likely to take a different line. So yeah, I guess it's probably like in Solverland, if everyone's playing perfectly, it probably all cancels out. I guess. I mean, I think in game, I would like. I would.
What size did Davey use when he bet?
Third pot on the river.
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I think you just have to like. I think
How-
against a
how-
guy
how-
like
how-
Davey, you probably just have to pick a number and spin for it.
Well,
Yeah, but
would you rather have ace 9 than ace 10, jack, queen, and king?
Well, actually, one of the things about this spot is I think that straights aren't really favored too much for this line, because when he bets the turn for small, they might be blocking bluff raises again. So like he's more repping a boat when he does this. So maybe the 9. It's so hard to say that, because like people can obviously just like ignore this like intentionally or by accident, and then like these things, or they can get. I mean, yeah, like going like really deep into those blocker effects, and then like someone might just be playing differently to how you're expecting. Yeah, I think it's it's like the assumptions are stacked on top of like a house of cards, and like sure, if we get them all right, we can start differentiating these hands with precision. But it's so likely that somewhere along there, either like your understanding misses a step or theirs does, and then like it just all it's not what it should be. So yeah, I tend to just like pick the reasonable hands and then like try and work out a reasonable number, than rather than like rank the hands and sit there in game and go, oh well, I'll call ace 9 before ace 10, but then I'll call ace king before. Yeah, I just don't like. I don't try that personally.
Is he good or is he beat?
He's good about 40% of the time. So I'm gonna say he. I don't know. I'm gonna say Davey has it.
Davey has it.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of ideal combo for this, right? Like he's repping an 8 on both streets. He has 2 8s in his hand, which is the exact kind of hand where like if you check on river, you're blocking Peta reopening an 8, but if you block, you're not blocking him from raising his ace 9 or like any ace. So yeah, I mean, Davey has a very well played hand, and I mean, yeah, Peta's hand is just reasonable. Like he could have folded, like, but this is fine too. And like, yeah, as I said, like Davey's the kind of guy where he's good enough that you can't really be range folding these spots.
Can you name an ace that's a mandatory raise call here?
Yeah, that.
Because this might be one of them.
Really.
Look, man, if you have an ace here that isn't a boat, then you're indifferent.
Yeah, you just have to be. Like, there's no
That's
like
just the way it works. You're
because
indifferent.
if one of them starts pure calling, out of position just starts shifting their bluffs to make that one not pure
Okay.
call.
I see what you're saying.
There just can't be one. Yeah, this is why I was like going on like that's the short version of me going on that long-winded thing about blockers. Is that yeah, if your opponent knows what your preferences are, then suddenly your preferences are shit.
But don't you think human v human, you could just come up with, well, it's most reasonable for my opponent to be blocking the river with, let's say, an 8, and then having a side card that would block my value and want to 3-bet bluff. Therefore, I don't want to block that side card. Therefore, call with these particular different aces. Because don't you think it's more likely that your read on that is more important than whatever, finding the frequency?
Yeah, I mean, like at the same time though, we just like never have 9-7ers in position here, right? Like, there's no like, how is 9-7 getting slow played on the double flush draw turn versus only a block when it's the first bet which has gone in? Like, it has to be raising.
Yep.
And then like, so then it's like, you think about that from Davies' perspective, and okay, 9-8 is kind of a visual bet free bet here, but is it actually any better? And so,
Well, it blocks them having ace 9, which blocks you from having the
Right,
9-7, which they
yeah.
might not know if you're shoving or not,
Yeah, so like ace nine might be like a more visual hand for them to call. Yeah, so it might be like blockers to like the blocker cooldown. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make assumptions. Yeah, like that they're gonna make this. They're gonna gravitate towards like raise calling ace nine and ace seven, and then those ones get better.
I think that that's a pretty decent level to end the whole experience on, to be honest. Like if you figure, okay, he can bet 3-bet me more with 8-7 and more with 8-9 because he thinks that I might raise call ace-9 and ace-7. Therefore, I raise call ace-9 and ace-7.
They're also more represented because like the 9-8 and the 8-7 are gonna block the turn more often with a little bit extra equity than a hand like 10-8. So you could also say like say out of position doesn't show a tendency, but they just roll a frequency with every 8 here. They'd still end up weighted towards 9-8 and 8-7 as their bluffs just by betting them more on the turn. So then we'd still end up not wanting to call ace nine. So yeah, it could be that like the ace nine and the ace seven are actually the lower EV calls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
quite sick.
yeah.
I mean, I guess then it comes back to, can he bet 3-bet the straight? Or is he scared that you have enough ace-5 for a check back and turn flat and ace-6 for a check back and turn flat that he's just punting his stack off with 9-7?
7-4 is bet 3-betting for sure.
Okay, so you think he can bet 3-bet both straights then, and any hizzy?
Yeah, man.
Well, I got a question for you guys then. What if he, instead of shoving one measly buy-in on the river, is now shoving 2 measly buy-ins? Now what are we doing?
Well, then it can't be a straight.
Yeah, but what does Peter do? Can he call any hand? Does he have to wait for ace-5 now?
No, ace.
No, you just roll a lower number.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, Davey's a good fucking player, and sometimes you just gotta fucking call.
Don't range fold to people who have 9 BB win rates in reg battles.
Yeah, you don't.
I think if you do that, you become the reason the guy prints 9 BB.
Exactly. And honestly, I'll be honest with you. When I play against Davey, I just click call. I just hope he's balancing his range enough that my calling isn't that bad, and then I just deal with it later. So
yeah. I mean, also, like going back to our reaction that we're getting free bet, like it's not that we think that. It's not that we think, oh, we're getting free bet and it's value, or we're getting free bet then it's bluff. It's just the trauma of dealing with Davey free betting you here and not knowing which way it's weighted. It's like
the trauma of being like, I may be up 20,000 or down 10. Or basically, I may have $20,000 in my stack, or have not $20,000 in my stack, and you just know that's gonna happen. And I click call anyways. It's the trauma between a high variance.
Yeah, interesting.
The excitement before walking up to a beautiful woman and not knowing if she's gonna say yes or no.
Nice one. Let's check back in with Prodigy with this hand.
Me versus Kevin.
He's forgotten the hand. This is nice. Let's get some Sea Llama commentary here. What are we enjoying a stab here on the flop?
Probably just check back. Unless we want to start constructing some sick bluff ranges.
We bet the flop for the 9 turns so that we can blast off and get called by 10-8.
Yep. Facing the 2x on the turn, and we have queen 10. I mean, I think I'd call. Yeah, I don't see why I'd fold.
I think this is indifferent, by the way. This is 2x.
I think it might be indifferent, but I don't know. I don't really care. I think it's just too easy to look top down when we have a versus 2x is much different than 150. 150, I'm looking a little more top down. 2x, I'm looking more like what I can do in the future with the hand, like ace 10, and queen. I feel like I might like queen 10 with an ace 10. I don't know. And then we face the 150 again. How do we feel about our queen? Does he? What do you think about his sizing?
Standard.
Is it?
You want him to shove or something?
Yeah. Like, what are we repping here now? Are we? So, is the rep like kings?
Don't know.
You know?
What's he repping?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking what is the rep here for 2x and then 150
King Jack
with
plus?
4K behind?
Maybe Queen Jack plus?
No, it can't be King Jack.
Why not?
I have. There's a lot of check back with Ace Jack and like
Really?
even sets here. Yeah.
Really? What the fuck
Yeah,
game
no,
are
like,
they playing these days, bro?
Flatters are like
I
imposition.
mean, you're supposed to
flatten
check back
spots
set
is
like a
so
lot, right?
effective. Yeah, like that. There's very real check back frequency with sets. Like Ace Jack is like, I mean, it's betting. Don't get me wrong, but if you blast off King Jack like this, you're gonna see Ace Jack sit there and tank versus you.
Sick.
Yeah, I don't know what the rep is, man. Like, does kings play this?
Maybe.
What do you think, Owen?
Nah, no reads, no live reads allowed.
Okay.
Llama
Yeah.
commentary only. Let's see.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Well, I don't know. I'm guessing Owen calls because we're in a call about looking at hands. Oh, right.
Didn't see that one coming.
I'm fucking retarded.
Have you not
Should've
played
known.
with me long enough to...
No, you quit me, pussy.
I know we have it on record. No one play Llama. He's too good.
Whoa! Whoa, buddy!
His ego got the better of him there.
Anyways,
yeah, it flipped out.
One day he'll learn.
Super Crusher Llama.
Owen repping the check back set.
Ace 4 one time. 5.
Do you think that he'll fold value to this out of interest, Llama? Like, because the price is just obscene.
Look, man, I don't fucking know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, fair enough. Neither do I. I just saw this hand and I also had no idea what was going on. We're gonna see the KK bet fold.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, buddy.
So I guess KP does have the KK in that line. So I don't know. That's actually like a pretty interesting hand. Is that theory from him?
It feels like a slightly overplayed kings, assuming that I missed some checkbacks.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like, and it feels like you exploited that properly.
I have that shirt he's wearing in his avatar. Sorry.
How much does it cost?
Good. Like 700.
Jesus Christ.
Got to spend my money on something, man. Don't have a girl
Wait.
to drain it all for me.
Get some guns, bro.
I live in the UK most of the year. Any other suggestions?
What was the token that Llama's investing in recently? Cat Slap? I think factories and farmland are good investments.
Pretty sure Owen just mogged the fuck out of Kevin Pack.
This hand was sick. I only saw this tonight, actually. Yeah.
This was on the show table.
Ooh.
I was like, I was sitting there. I was just like,
how was his timing for the fold? Surely not instant.
Oh no, mega tank.
Okay.
Like almost timed out.
Yeah, Kevin Pack got mogged on.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
But thank you to Kevin for not caring if I show his whole cuts. Appreciate that. Because some people were making a bit of a fuss. I think it makes the hand a lot more interesting to see that he actually did fold something, and then you get to see that this bluff that you chose to make, that I don't think many people would have even considered, was actually a very sick bluff that a sticky player finds a fold there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when he tanks that long, it's like, you know, even if he doesn't show the whole cards, like it's just like, okay, which overpair was it, man? You know, like there's not really
They're
There's no
true,
hiding
but
it.
it's nice to see,
Yeah. It is nice.
especially on the replay where it doesn't show timings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're looking for it, you can't really tell. Did he just bet fold the misnut flush draw or like?
Yep. So we're gonna see, I guess, a standard start to a hand here. Any comment on the sizing on the turn? Like I've seen some smaller bets happening on these kind of turn cards, but is it like something that you guys might split, like having a block bet and this kind of more let's get it
Yeah.
in kind of bet?
I mean, especially when the gap is quite big from the 10 to the ace, and you have like jacks, queens, kings,
Mm-hmm.
which are like still fairly strong hands, especially when the ace is turned. You know, like we see that the flop half pot, he's folding out quite a few ace x hands. So if you wanna have a small continuing size as well for those hands, it's pretty legit. You could just continue like this, and it's not too bad either. Depends how much you want to try and juggle in game.
What kind of frequency barrel? Say you were block only on the turn. What kind of barrel frequency would you have?
I think if you're using only a small size, you end up betting like almost everything, and you'll have like a very, very specific checking range of like pocket nines and like pocket tens.
If that's true, let's not say it's a range bet, but let's say you could bet like 95 range for block. Why would you risk adopting another sizing, which probably forces you to have significantly more checks, or would you not make that trade-off? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, there's always this thing of like, as you increase the complexity of what you're managing in your own game tree, you increase the complexity that they have to deal with. Like, for instance, if you only use a small size at a very high frequency, and that small size is uncapped because you have no bigger size, then like raising against it is like pretty dangerous, right? Because there's all these hands which might want, like ace king, ace queen, which might want to pile the money in, which would only be going, they'd be in the small size all the time. And so someone might be like, oh, when they use a small size, I don't want to raise them. But then if someone's never playing back at you, suddenly those hands are a bit wasted. So it's kind of like, how much do you want to test your opponents to know the responses? But like also equally, you're opening up areas that you might fuck up yourself. So yeah, it's like it's more like, like there are benefits to it, but it's just how much can you manage without getting to a point where you're like overloading yourself and you're giving away more than you're getting from like complicating things.
I personally wouldn't play big bet on this turn ever.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you can
How deep
execute
are we?
something, that's a good question. A little bit deep, then I guess.
You can just like merge them into something in the middle. I'm like not even in like 100% sure.
Yeah.
on
What about
theory
like block or half pot? Like,
yeah, I mean, I could see like just using a more B40 barrel, but it just feels like you have like pocket jacks, which kind of wants to barrel for somewhere from like B10 to B25. And like you have enough of that sort of hand type that it might be worth building a range around.
I think if we sized up the flop, maybe we start doing a little more splitty. Like if we bet 75 on the flop.
Yeah, I could see like the ace might not actually, like we might not smash the ace as hard when we go half pot.
Right.
Like so then if we're not hitting the ace quite as hard because we've not forced them to fold some, then maybe it's a little bit more passive card. Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I play a more polar size than this on the flop. Yeah. Also, when you're more polar, you end up having less of those like merged hands. You have like less hands like I don't know, like weak top pairs or under pairs in your range, and so then those polar ranges, even when they get devalued, they still have a tendency to keep the betting lead. Whereas like the merged ranges, like will have more hands which naturally want to check. or like yeah, and so then maybe that becomes more of a thing.
Complicated shit, guys. It's fucking 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this came out of nowhere. So anyway, he gets shipped on. He's gonna mark with ace queen. What's he thinking there?
Guess Queen of Spades blocks bluff.
Whoa,
But
whoa, whoa, whoa.
we're so like, aren't we? Well, are we ahead of any of the linear shoves? I don't think so, right? Like,
But we chop with some.
do we chop or is it ace king plus? For like the pure linear ones, like
The ace queen doesn't jam?
I mean, it's an ace high board. The tendency to just slow play when there's no potential overcards is quite high, right?
I think this is a hand that Top Up didn't want to show people.
Yeah, I could see that. Bob has this big image going on of like he's like, you know, not folding, fighting for his life in 3-bet pots, and then this happens. Maybe we're just gonna make him a bunch of money because people are gonna do this to him tomorrow, and then he's gonna win like 5 stacks just having the nuts.
Yeah, I actually forgot if I'm supposed to ask him or not about this hand. I'm just tired. Like,
Talk about your secrets out.
hold on. Let's see if he agreed. No, he's all good. He's agreed.
Oh, good.
Good man. So he's happy that we're showing his whole cards right now.
I don't think he's happy.
What if it's a good fold though?
But it's a good
even
fold.
worse.
You don't want people to know you made.
Even worse.
Yeah. If
Ah!
there we go, Davey, my boy. Not even scared of the ace x spade, which just has him drawing so fucking thin. He don't give a fuck.
Bro, what I find
So
wild is like,
does Davey think that he's barreling like the kings, queens, jacks for this sort of large turn sizing?
no.
So what's Davey think that he's folding?
Like it's like equity denial, and you get it in ahead versus some combo draws.
Yeah.
You fold like a little bit of the linear stuff.
What
but, like,
combo draw could you possibly get it in ahead of as Davey?
or like king queen, king jack, queen jack of spades.
They call the
Yeah.
shove?
Yeah, they'll be priced in.
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, king queen probably. I mean, well, often they don't have an overcard though. That's interesting. Without an overcard, and also there's ace x spade possible, which would fuck them so hard.
But that's not.
That's
shoving,
never
is it?
shoving, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's never shoving, but then I've seen sometimes you do these things when people start like bet calling equity, and then you just rip something which has them fucked. But probably not. I don't know.
Strange hand though, yeah.
I mean,
I
like
think-
often jamming these purpose flush draws is a thing just because it's like, you are like you're getting hands with a lot of equity against you to fold, and then you're also getting in ahead sometimes, and then when you do get it in behind, like say top up calls, like Davey's far from dead, you know. This is like, how many outs does he have? He has like,
A few.
well, the queen of spades is blocked, so it's 13 outs.
Wait. Yeah. Yeah, 13.
Yeah, which is like not, you know, it's not that bad. And so then when you're getting like, when you still got so much equity when called, it's like you don't need too much to fold to like ship in the like last however much.
Alright. Let's try and
Good
get
to know Top Up's folding that.
Oh my god, we've got to get him with it before the video releases. Wait, is he playing now? But yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think also, yeah, I mean, I was saying from the start that I wasn't going to be surprised if Top Up called down bottom pair. So
yeah.
so yeah,
I mean, Top Up's call seems legit.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that call is definitely reasonable.
What's the deal on this kind of a sizing? Is this how it's done on mono boards these days?
Yeah, I mean, well, mono boards is like often the strategy resembles the not mono board, but the sizes are just a lot smaller. Would be, the very short form version of them.
Okay.
Oh.
And what kind of raise frequency would the imposition have here against this type of sizing?
It's close to 0, I think, on this one.
Wow. So you're handcuffed.
Yeah, well, basically, monoboards are so locked down that you just slow play everything, then raise the river. Yeah, I think especially when there's like 2 high cards on them already, because like you're not really denying that much equity, and then like what one diamond hands are gonna like obviously get the price unless you go fucking huge.
Yeesh. Ew.
Yeah, probably worst 10 in the deck. Well, yeah, no, it probably is the worst 10 in the deck.
Well, a diamond's probably worse.
4 flush is quite good for aggressor usually.
Okay.
4 flush, you bluff off your aces.
Can we just bet 10 again? Call it a day.
Yeah, I think you're just supposed to check a ton here. You don't have ace jack off, they do. There's already so many good hands on the board, which have your ace king and aces pretty fucked. They have king queen off, you don't as well. It's just not a good board.
We do have ace jack off and king queen off.
I mean, those are low frequency free bets from the big, so
Yeah. Man, these guys are good. This sucks. What do you do here, Owen?
I wonder if we're blocking bluffs, but I'm not sure we are. I mean, it's quite a big jam relative to like. So we're gonna have better bluff catchers than this.
You know what?
I
You know
don't
what,
know.
Owen? You know what? I think I just fucking call. Final answer.
I think. I mean, I
I
think it's
call.
okay as a call. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine as a call.
How much do you guys
call.
care about the ace of spades effect here with the 10 of spades being on the turn?
Yeah.
So ace 10 of hearts or clubs, whatever, can still be in your opponent's range for a bluff. Does this matter or no?
We're mostly expecting him to just like torch off like fives with a diamond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like those are the main hands I'd see. I mean, maybe like pocket jacks with a diamond get like.
What's his thinnest for value out of interest?
Probably,
King queen, run it.
no, I was thinking
Pocket sevens?
no. I think Jack 9 for sure, I would say, and then the sets are close. Like even
what do you do with sets? You just fucking
there's supposed
raise
to be
on
so
all
much slow playing on mono that like a solver might tell you that Jack 9 can't play for a stack here because they're like free betting so many flushes. Like it plays so passively, especially because like the turn is so bad that Kevin might be checking entire range. And so then, because he checks he bets entire range on flop, then checks entire range on turn. Like he has a lot of nuttish hands in there, and so then if you start running it with sets into that range, it might be kind of scary. Like yeah, I mean he could definitely have kings and queens in this size, and like.
Will you like 4-bet that plenty?
I think he meant Kevin.
No, I meant Kevin.
Oh.
So like there is an element of value owning to going thinner than Jack 9.
I guess, dude.
How much is in position checking back a straight on the turn? He's not looking to go for 2, or he wants to like have some sort of tricky raise against a delayed bet.
I don't know, man. There's this thing about how no one knows how to play mono boards. When I do study it though, you do see a lot of slow playing, but
Yeah,
most of my
they're
stuff was
very, very trappy. Like,
Yeah.
this is supposed to like this is the kind of hand which I think people only really see happen at very high stakes, but it is supposed to be quite frequent in solvers. Yeah, just because it's like, okay, a set is like, sorry, not a set, like a straight is okay. It's a little bit vulnerable to the one diamond hands, but they're not really check folding one diamond hands. So if you think about, okay, I want to bet my set now and then like blast the river compared to checking back to rip river over their bet, it's not like you get any protection. Like if you bet your straight and then what do they fold? It's always a hand with 0 outs. I mean, like the same with flushes. Like,
Look, man, I call. Can I? Hey, Owen, can I buy his call? Can I buy the
what?
call? Can I buy it? Can I buy it up? Wait, don't.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Don't show. Wait.
Keep
Do I
in
even
mind,
dare
I was at
ask?
this table. I was at this table, but I don't remember the hand.
Oh wait, am I being scammed? No, actually, I'm not giving you action on. Like, this is 100% a scam spot.
I'm not scamming you. I'm not scamming you. I'm not scamming you. I just want to point out that I was at the table, but I don't remember this hand at
But
all.
Llama, what if you have it in like peripheral memory?
I don't,
How do you know?
because my memory's telling me I don't.
Well, do you know what? You're right, mate.
Am I? See? Yeah, you got fucked. You got fucked, Prodigy.
Wait, what? Oh right, you don't have it in peripheral memory. I was gonna let you buy the call till I realized you were at the table. So
You should have trusted that he's an upstanding citizen, bro. You would have made some money.
Get fucked, idiot.
no. Long term, that's a losing bet.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we've got one final hand with a player that we haven't seen so far.
No foul.
How do you guys
Right.
like the chip animations in this replay, by the way?
Looks nice.
Oh, is this the possible new one?
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. This is nice. Yeah, this is good.
Is there anything to think about here out of interest?
Oh yeah,
bet.
no, there is.
Just automatic barrel or some consideration to know?
There is something to think about though, because it's like, okay, it is a good hand for betting. Don't get me wrong, but you got to think about when you have this kind of equity, it is a bit scary to get check shoved off of it, because like Linus might check shove a hand like 7-6 of diamonds, which, okay, sure, you're behind, and like we just folded to a hand which is ahead of us, but we had a ton of implied odds and equity against that hand.
Yeah, I bet this hand.
Yeah, no, I would still bet it, but like there is definitely there is a consideration going on where like that, bad, like you want to balance these things out when you're considering reopening with this much equity.
It's funny that he potted.
I mean, it's Geo though, and he's not gonna.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, like 75 would be reasonable.
I
I knew it. I knew it. In this house, we draw our own.
Run it. Should have jammed.
Oh, does he check ball?
Oh my god.
Wait. Does he flick it in again and just put him on 10-9?
10-9, Jack 10.
Yeah, he just puts him on. Oh, even worse if he flicks it in and Linus has a pair.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think calling is good.
I mean, I saw your ace freehand versus Daniel.
That's true. That was pretty bad.
That was it was the same fucking idea, man. You put him on the fucking missed open ender.
That's true.
Yeah.
He hit the other open ender though.
Yeah, the one which got there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Linus bluffing with the best hand one time. Ah, so boring.
Boring.
Just a strat.
Linus having it one time. Impressive.
So dry. So dry. I mean, I wonder if he makes that call or he makes that call because it's against Linus.
I feel like he wanted to be cool, like I did.
He was just like I mean, okay, maybe that's not the thought process, but I feel like there's at least a part of you here which goes, oh my god, if I own liners here with this sick fucking, like, maybe there were other things, and he started counting all the miss straight draws, yada yada.
Maybe.
But I suspect that there was an element of owning liners to this call.
I was going to go to bed after this hand, but I want to show you guys this one because I think you'll enjoy.
For decky hand.
We've already looked at this with someone else, but we'll look at it again, and you guys can say what you think. So we've got a small blind flat against a cutoff open. Any
Check the flop?
consideration to donking? How does this work in Hold'em?
I think 10-10 pairing is decent against the cutoff.
I mean, we do have a lot of 10x, and we do have that kind of mid-range, and then we also have like bluffs that can play off the 10 straightening cards.
Like the low pockets are pretty like decent, and
So we're gonna see the donk.
I mean, if decky donks, it's right.
Yeah. Click
So we're
the
gonna
donk.
see donk, raise, call.
Raise. I was ready for a click ball.
Check.
Half.
This is okay. Actually,
You can check a weaker 10 than this, though, right? Like, it's fine to bet,
I mean,
surely.
you could check this one to check rip it or something.
Yeah.
Because like if you like check a boat, then check ripping it is a bit pointless. So actually taking a top range hand which wants some protection in the checking range would be okay.
Okay.
But like check ripping Jack 10 here would be a bit of an overplay, I think.
Backdoor flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you. Backdoor flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you. Backdoor flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you. I'm all in.
He blocks. No, yes, Decky. Good, solid play. Kevin rips and he snaps. Like, or well, maybe he thought about it.
Snaps.
Mental
Backdoor
snap.
flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you. Backdoor flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you.
Backdoor flush one time. I don't. Yeah.
What
yeah,
the
there we
fuck,
go.
Decky?
There we fucking go.
I told you, backdoor flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you.
Oh my, Decky.
What the fuck, Decky?
We have Trips top kicker.
Can you guys tell me, forget Decky's hero fold here, what is Kevin doing calling the 3-bet on the flop and the turn bet?
I believe the technical term for this is an ego war, or
blockers. It's called blockers.
What the fuck was that? Okay, I think it's past Kid's bedtime, even though it's only 8 PM over here.
I'm so fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
Backdoor flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you.
well, yeah, not if you've got king high and you were dead the whole time. Nothing.
Bro, I need to put that on a shirt. Backdoor flushes aren't real. They can't hurt you.
Yeah. Also, when you start selling merch, yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is a fucking gangster play. Like,
I think it's theory approved.
Funny shut up. I find it so fucking funny that the read, like, from Kevin the whole time was Decky's got complete dust. I'm gonna float him down and steal it away on the river, and he was so wrong on one hand anyway. Like, Decky's got top of fucking range, and he still manages to win the hand with 0% the whole time. Like, that's elite right there. I mean, in a sense, it's also a complete fucking torch.
I think that's the issue with Decky. I think this hand illustrates Decky's issue.
He's trying to play good poker.
I think I know how to make Decky. I'm gonna write an essay.
Don't make Decky better. Don't make Decky. No, he's good enough. He needs these leaks.
Okay, I won't say anything.
Oh, good.
I
I
think
wanted
these
to edit
hands
the video
illustrated.
again.
I think these hands illustrated some really interesting things. So it's actually insane how much EV you can get in these from watching this video. My goodness.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to edit the whole thing down. It'll just be us chatting at the start.
And
Just
yeah,
edit that one thing I said, cocky. Yeah, just the one thing I said.
Well, one thing.
Well, I don't want to say it again because then you have to edit it twice.
He doesn't want to add to work.
God,
I'm not trying to
yeah,
add to your workload.
yeah,
Also,
jeez.
some people might have missed it, and then it's like, what one?
All right, well, GG guys, thanks for doing this with me anyway. All right, nice. I'm gonna start recording now.
Yeah.
So you don't even remember this hand. I mean, you remember it pretty quickly, I guess.
I'll remember it when I see the flop and shit, right? I think 4-bet pot, right? Yeah.
I know.
I don't know.
Oh, this is quite a sick one, yeah. So I mean, I guess we can start with the basics for the fans. So you're thinking about stabbing here. Any
Yeah,
merit
I
to
think-
not? And like you guys are obviously pretty deep. Like he slightly covers you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think like if we're like it depends a bit on the strategy, right? If we're like a bit shorter, like 100 EV, and I'm scared he's gonna rip in my face, obviously we're not love stabbing that much. But this one is like easier to continue. Maybe if you have like diamonds or something, you're not loving seeing the check raise. Yeah. So then maybe check more, but this one is also quite happy against check raise, so I think stab quite nice.
What do you think of Rig Deck's game? Out of interest.
I think he's quite sharp. I think he's very like picking up quite quickly on how you adjust against him and whatever. And he's a true grinder, which I rate a lot. I think these guys, man, he fucking plays everybody.
Yeah, he's
Like,
played the most
three-handed.
hands so far.
Really?
Yep.
Also, like ACR before and stuff like this, dude. He's just grinding against the best of the best. Like, I rate it.
Yeah, he's interesting. From my perspective, he seems extremely aggro, and I'm always surprised if somebody folds to him. I'm like, man, this guy's just blasting away. I don't know what you're doing. Okay, so now you turn a pair and open ender. So
Yeah.
decent card. And you choose to barrel, is that 75% pot?
Yeah, I think like now that I see it, I kind of maybe want to size up a bit more. I think like at this point, like we're kind of just saying like we're not really betting. Like I guess we could bet like jacks or queens sometimes if we like not too scared of him ripping it. But I think it's mostly like stronger than that. And then I think we just want to go for stacks here. So I think maybe like pot is a nice sizing. And then maybe you get like the nice thing where you get like make him fold like pock 9 here, and then he calls like ace 5 or something, you know, or like ace king clubs or something.
Yeah, right. It's a spot to an outside observer that looks kind of like a bluff, kind of like a value bet, and
Yeah,
I'm not really sure which one it's more than the other.
I mean it's both, right? This is like it's kind of both. But I think I don't like my sizing. I think I should go bigger here, man. Like you just like I got I don't know 5-4, 5-6, 7-8. I just want to put the money in my just go like pot or something. I kind of like better.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's going to call and you're going to hit this river. He doesn't donk.
Yeah.
Is there any thing that you're reading into him not donking the river? Do you think this is a spot where he would ever donk? Or is this a spot where it's just nah, he has to check to protect his weaker hands and stuff?
Yeah, I don't think it's a donking spot. Like it's something changes on the board, but like I think the flush is like maybe even better, more better for me, but it's definitely not clearly better for him. So it's like no reason to donk for him. Yeah, I'm also saying like I've got fucking strong hand already. I guess was my size down not that strong, but I'm still saying I got strong hand. It's not like I'm saying I've got like pock 9 here and you should maybe like whatever, right? He has some benefit of donking, but I'm just saying I have like strong hand or not. So I think check is good.
And how are you
and
feeling about this river?
Yeah, I mean I'm loving it. Like of course he has some flushes, but like I have like insanely strong hand. Like definitely go for value here. I think interesting river would be like not a 6, like a deuce or something, yeah. And then maybe dripping this one would be actually the beast line because he folds like his pocket 10s, pocket jacks, pocket queens. Maybe he calls his ace 5 or like his 5-4 on a deuce, which you beat or a counterfeit. Ace 4, ace 5 you could call. Maybe call some ace king rather instead of like I don't know some pocket jacks. Who knows? But under 6, I think is just a clear jam.
And what are you thinking he's going to call you with? Like an overpair with a club, but fold one without one? Or do you think he's going to potentially call regardless of holding a club?
I don't know. I think he's going to be like in this spot not very... I don't know how he thinks, but I think he's going to be like every hand which is a catch, he's gonna think about it. Maybe try to think about other stuff than like hand selection. Like I don't know, maybe he thinks my turn sizing is bullshit, or he thinks like I don't know, I show up too much here with like random hand, or the other way around, my hand is too nutted and he just folds all of his catchers. So I think it's tough, and I think rather though, I think having a club is just better, right? Because it just I don't have much offsuit club by bluff, so I think like if he has a club, it's quite nice. He blocks some flushes, which is definitely a big part of value. So yeah, I like club call. Probably just call with the club folded out. I think is a good idea. Yeah, I think tough hand for him.
Bad beat, some would say.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Maybe I'll let you have a little selection, Chris. Who would you like to see in a pot? I've got some of each player. I've got a few absolute top up, a Beppe hand, Daniil.
Yeah, Beppe was good.
Beppe hand?
Daniil also good. Yeah, all of them, man. Beppe, Beppe, Linus, Daryl. Kevin, this is a good matchup. This is like the true beasts at this table.
Yeah, this is a nice one. So we're gonna see no stab here.
Yeah.
Turning of a 10. I guess I'll pause at this point. Maybe would you stab at all with his hand on the flop or the turn? Or do you think he's just supposed to check back both times? No real thought here.
Yeah, I think flop is just like you really got absolutely nothing. Like I don't mind it. Maybe some benefit in folding out some like Queen 10, Jack 10 or something, but I think hand just doesn't connect to the board at all. So I think like checking is good.
And turn sort of similar, enough showdown.
Yeah.
You want some more things you can call a river bet with.
Yeah. Turn is definitely like same set. You don't need damage protection here as well. Like okay, some from higher cards as well, but like I don't think you want to start betting like if you have like ace 5 or something, it's not like you like need a fold out as king queen or something. Is drawing quite thin against you anyway. So I think the main part of range doesn't want to bet much for small sizing, and then 10x is just like just not strong enough. So I think check back is good again. Wouldn't have played it differently, I think.
I just wanted to prepare for this river.
Yeah.
So now we see the lead, half pot.
Yeah.
From Linus.
Yeah,
obviously, he has to raise. Maybe your thoughts on sizings for a raise?
Yeah, I think I don't think the question is, are we raising anything worse than a 10 here? I think like a snow play flush, maybe, but don't have that much, so probably shouldn't care much about it. Then like ace X probably don't have it much as well, so I think it's mostly around a 10. So I'd size like not too small, but probably not too big, because a 10 is like both people have the 10 quite in range. It's not like you just have like it's like a card where it's very hard to have like a strong hand. So I think I just size like whatever, 13 maybe, something like this.
Do you think it's
1,300.
Do you think it would be whaley to bluff with a hand that blocks the 10 but does absolutely nothing else, like Jack 9 of diamonds, for example?
Nah, I think it's okay. The thing is, like, maybe Linus opens like Jack 9-0 and 10-9-0 though, so then it's like not that important anymore, you know? Because like the suited, like he just opens all the offsuit anyway. But I don't know. I probably respect Daryl's game in the big blind, so maybe it's not going to be that wide. So I don't mind it. I think like it's tough to find bluffs here, right? It's also like a spot where like
I guess like maybe some deuces kind of shit.
Yeah. But I think I like your idea as well. Just go for like some 10x blocker. But then maybe you want to have like a king or something. It's not too bad to bluff. Like just like because he maybe is not. I mean, I guess a king doesn't matter because it's just like border splitting, right? So maybe not the best hand to bluff. Wow, it's a tough one. Yeah, these spots are very tough to choose bluffs, I think. I think Pock do is a good idea. Just try to get out of range. Yeah, he goes very small here. I don't know if he's raising an ace still for value here. He might actually. Yeah, it looks like he is maybe.
Yeah, well, it depends how much he knows about his opponent's game. Like, I don't know if Linus would half pot here with pocket kings, queens, or jacks, but if he would, then a response of raising smallish with any reasonable kicker ace is probably understandable.
Yeah, I think it's quite sharp from him. Linus definitely value betting like kings, queens, maybe even like eights or something.
And now when you see this, are you thinking Linus is going to do this with just any 10? as well, like to fold off the
Oh,
chop
he
kind of
might,
thing,
man.
or
I
what?
mean,
What do you think about his range?
Linus is true sicko. Like, I'm obviously shitting my pants here, but it's like, oh, the problem is maybe if Linus doesn't have like no bluffs, you know what I mean? Like maybe he has no bluff here, and he only has like 10 excess bluff, which is like chopping, you know what I mean? So then the best case scenario is you chop, and then the worst case scenario is you get stacked, which obviously makes it infinitely worse than if he has like some random, whatever,
Yeah.
ace 5 or something, you know, where you just actually win the whole pot. But wow, I mean, I can't blame Beppo for calling here, like especially against Linus, who's just
Yeah,
true madness
it
and so
feels
many
impossible to
levels.
fold to Linus. He's the one person who might be over bluffing in every single spot.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he definitely got the moves. So I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one. Maybe if you have like a very good day and like whatever, you can fold it. But I mean, this is so hard, man. Like, I know the outcome as well, so I'm biased as well. So like, it's not.
It's very
if I was
criminal that
watching
he
that-
has the aces. It's extremely criminal.
yeah, it is. And also, like, yeah, it's just fucked. It's just fucked.
But
Yeah.
I find these hands quite entertaining. And this is one thing I like about No Limit is like pot can be absolutely min, and then out of nowhere, stacks are just flying into the middle.
Yeah, it's definitely sick. Especially with these guys at the table, man. They're just like going put you to the test.
Right, we've got a little Daryl hand for you then.
Okay. Let's go. Okay.
Anything to say about the c-bet decision here?
Yeah, I mean, seems decent. I think like here the sizing doesn't go small, it goes like a bit bigger. Makes some sense because he just like Big Blind has just quite a bit of like whatever 10-7 or something like this, which doesn't get the best price against half and just has to fold right at, like on these boards where it's like quite connected. You have like all these like one gutter hands or something, which quite tough pot if against half pot, which you have quite much incentive to folding out in general. So kind of like don't mind the upsize here. And then ace jack, it's like you want to have some jack, and then the ace jack is always like the hand you would want to bet when you want to bet second pair is always quite nice because you're just beating all those other jack X, right?
Do you peel like a 75% pot check raise if you c-bet this hand out of interest, or?
Ooh, I think it's close. Yeah, with the ace of clubs probably more often. I think it's still fine. Yeah, I mean he's gonna like you have a lot of strong hands here, and you might prefer something which has like more nut equity if you hit right. So maybe you can start folding it. Yeah, I think it's a close one.
And when it comes to turn, is it just auto check back, or is there some merit to cooking up a barrel? I imagine the only sizes we see here are 75% or larger.
Yeah, I go 150 if I bet. I think, just overbet it. I mean, you still like don't have much incentive of betting the jack, right? I think it's gonna be like a strong king and better probably if you want to bet. And then like you'd have more incentive of betting the jack if like the king was not a club, like if the king was a club, because then you get called at least by like jack X and 8X with clubs, right? But now the king is not a club, so like he doesn't even call jack X 8X with a club, so it's like it makes it less attractive to bet, right? I think I just always check this one. Don't see much reason in betting.
Yep. Makes sense. And now facing another check. Mandatory value bet? Like what's the strongest hand you would check back here?
I'm definitely not value betting all jack X. I think the strongest jack X seems fine. I think I have like jack 10, jack 9. I think I'll just check it back.
Because you think you're
And then,
gonna too often get value cut, like when you bet into a queen jack, or are you not expecting him to block bet such a hand? I don't really understand Hold'em
sure.
river play anymore.
I think he definitely like gonna block a lot of king X himself or bet a lot of king X himself, whatever. And some jack X, like the strongest ones. But like it's not like we're playing against like a brick wall who's just gonna call or fold. Like he's gonna put you to the test, right? So it's not like you can just bet everything what you're ahead of of his range. Like first he has to call, and then he can also fuck you by just raising, right? So you don't want to go like too wide. We can't just like value bet like tens now because you're like, oh yeah, I blocked most of his king and jacks, and even though we're doing okay against his range in general, like he's gonna fold a lot of hands, and then he's also just gonna raise some hands. So like we want to be a bit more careful, I think. So I think ace jack is not that clear. I think ace jack I'd probably go as well. Queen jack maybe check already.
He is going to value it 75% pot,
Yeah.
and he's going to get raised.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Is there any world
Yeah.
where you can call this, or you need more interaction? Like, let's say the 10 or the 9 with the jack, or something else.
I mean, it goes both ways, right? If you have the 10 and 9, maybe this is a hands he bluffs as well, right? Maybe he starts bluffing like 8, 9, whatever. Maybe bluff some jack X. So maybe the jack isn't that good, to be honest. I think maybe actually rather have a king, because I don't think he's gonna bluff a king and might bluff a jack. And yeah, I mean, I think like the 9 or the 10 block or whatever goes both ways. So I wouldn't care too much about it, I think. If you have like the board locked up, if you have like 8-7 or something, I guess you could also still bluff 8x. So it's like, yeah, I think I'd just rather call a king. If I have like king 5, king 6 or something, I'd rather call that one, and then fold like this kind of hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Or
an
like-
insignificant sizing, the raise either. Is it more than
Yeah,
pot,
it goes
or is it
big,
full pot? It's pretty big, whatever
I
it
don't
is.
even know what he's raising here. Is he saying he still has? I mean, does he still have like 8-7? Surely not. It's like king.
Yeah, king's up or
King
better,
7.
or maybe jack
Yeah,
8 plus.
Yeah, I think jack 8 is close already. I think it's 2 pair was a king or better. I mean, I think I'd want a king as Daryl to call, honestly. But there's other factors. Maybe like he just thinks he's full of shit here. Who knows, right? Like maybe he thinks he's betting his strong hands more himself, or like whatever. Like I don't know. There's a lot of these guys. I mean, they have like infinite. There's so many things you can look at, and whatever. So
And
I mean, if he has his reasons to call, like it's probably a good call. I mean, Daryl very strong player. So
And Jarsam is definitely one of the players that's playing a little bit different compared to everybody else. So maybe there is something to read into, like his lack of
for
river
sure.
bet, and then maybe having more bluffs than he's supposed to, or whatever. But he does find the call, and he is right. So
Wow.
quite an interesting one.
That was an interesting bluff from Yassam, yeah. I think the 7 is nice to bluff, right? Like, because that's the hand Daryl improves on river, right? Which he wants about, like, if he has 8-7, maybe.
Well, the
King
thing
7 or
is,
something.
he has opened under the gun though, so it's only king 7 of clubs. Then I don't know if that's opened. You probably know that, right?
8-7 maybe.
But it
Yeah,
can't
I'd
be
open
suited,
7.
right? So,
What do you mean?
well, he's got the 7 of clubs.
Oh yeah, fuck. It's like king 7 spades, I guess. Oh.
So I mean, I don't know if you open king 7 suited, sure, but like I also think maybe the king 7. I don't know. Do you just automatically bet king 7 of clubs on the turn?
Yeah, I mean, I'd bet it probably quite a bit, but checking seems fine as well. I think it's goes both ways again. Maybe check fine. You want the other flush draws to catch up from the other guy a bit, and then like, yeah.
I gotta say, a lot of the time I see hands like this from someone, they tend to be right. Where they make this kind of marginal looking decision with ace jack.
Yeah.
And every time I was looking this week for the best hero folds. That was one of the categories with the players.
Yeah.
Nobody folds anything, but the times they do fold something, they're always wrong. So even though everybody's already a station, the moral is call even more.
Yeah, I love the show thing, man. The show thing is actually like very sick. It makes such a sick dynamic in the game. You don't want to like fold and then see the bluff shown.
Yeah.
You just rather call and lose, like whatever.
And it's not even like an ego thing, because usually when people show, it's like they had to manually click it, to give you a bit of a fuck you. It's just like automatic. You got bluffed, and you just have to deal with the reality that you folded some super close hand that you obviously could have called.
Yeah,
they just had some dirty bluff.
Yeah. It does hurt if you get bluffed and you just see the guy just flashing the bluff, and you're like, fucking hell, man.
Let's see, who else do you know of this list? I want to show you an interesting
I know everybody, man. Just bring it on.
Okay. I guess we'll go for this one. This might be the last one we have time for, because I have to go for dinner soon. Little
Alright.
blind v blind action.
Yeah.
150 deep.
I
There's
haven't seen this one. So okay. Won't be
Ah,
spoiled.
nice one. No donking here, I assume.
No. Yeah. Sure. Kevin bet can kind of bet whatever here. Seems good.
What about on this card? Any donking maybe?
I still wouldn't play donks. Like, it's 150, and Kevin has like a lot of these offsuit random shit hands, you know, or like suited shit hands, which connect with this kind of structure also quite a bit, right? Like, donking definitely fine for like a small sizing. I think it's okay. But like, he has like some random 10-8 off, you know, he has like some 9-7 off. I don't know, man. Like 6-7 suited has pretty similar. Like, I think it's not that clear who this card is better for. I guess the caller, maybe it's fine to donk a bit. I wouldn't mind it, but like it's gonna be pretty whatever, I think.
Yeah, he is going to do it this time,
Okay.
and he's going to get raised.
Okay.
What is
mean-
Kevin repping in your opinion? And
Yeah, this is the question. I think
how
this
do
is a
you
big
view
question.
it when you're sitting there with pocket eights?
Yeah, I think this is a big question to ask. Is he gonna do it with like Puck Jack or something, Puck Queens? I think the answer is yes. Like I think he still has it in range, like quite a bit, all his overpairs.
Is he going to
like,
call
if
a
you would check-
shove if you somehow click all in here?
What do you mean? If I would jam it?
No, so say Kev does raise JJ and
Yeah,
he gets
yeah.
shoved on by Danil. Do you think he's raising intending on calling? Or is he
Oof, I don't know, man. I think maybe he thinks this far ahead. I don't know if I think this far ahead, man.
you just
think, like,
click and
I
then
think the
figure
idea
out the next
generally would
decision?
be- Yeah, I think the
Old
idea
school.
would generally be like, it's a tough one, man. Maybe call off like Puck 10 or something because you have the extra out or something, and then fold some jacks, and then I don't know, man. Probably call some. So I mean, you're definitely calling some. You're definitely not folding all of them. But maybe you can find a fold if you think the guy's overly strong or something. But it is like a nice spot for Daniel to just fucking rip it. Was like maybe not Puck 8s, but like whatever 7-8 or something. You know, where you have a bit more equity. Fuck it,
Yeah.
man. Maybe try to get him fold some jacks or queens or something.
What about if you're sitting in Kevin's shoes and you have like the 6-7 suited? Or maybe even the 9-7. Are you auto value raising here? Or are you
Yeah,
trying to
I'm
trap a
raising.
little bit against whatever Danil's up to?
I wouldn't trap too much on this board. I think the hands out trap is like, you know, like Puck Ace, Puck King seems fine to call a bit more because you don't really need that much more protection. You know, if you have like Puck Jacks and a Queen, a King, or Ace come, it kind of sucks for you. But if you have Puck Ace, like not much can happen. But if you have like 6-7, you know, so much changes on the turn. Like 8 comes 5, 10. I think trapping in this pick already, in this big pot already, you don't have much hands you want to trap. I think like which are super super strong.
What about the nuts? Would you get in there with a
Yeah, like 10-8, I don't think I trap. Maybe Puck 9 you trap, you know, maybe he's like wouldn't like just has too many folds if you raise Puck 9 here. But I think generally I would raise most of my strong hands here for sure.
Okay.
Like super strong, like 2 pair plus.
And obviously with pocket eights, we're never intending on folding.
Yeah, not folding.
Could you cook like another weird donk here? Or is the SPR just kind of too low for such a move?
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I think if you donk here, you just want to rip it. I mean, if you donk here, just saying like, yeah, I got a 9 or better, like this kind of helps me, which is fair assessment. You're saying that, yeah, he's not raising 9x too much. He has like more of like 10s, jacks, queens, kings, whatever, and I have like whatever the 9-8, the 9-10 more. Like, I guess he could raise it as well, but kind of fits. So I think if you donk here, it seems fine, man. Like, but then I would just jam it and just jam like 9x and better.
What
Maybe
would
add
you
some,
bluff
like,
with then? Like 6-5, 6-8, this hand maybe?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, seems good. Maybe you have some. Yeah, you don't have flush on flop, right? So yeah, seems fine.
he is going to check.
Ace 8 maybe. You have it once. Nah, you don't have ace 8 mid. I don't know. Yeah.
And Kevin will shove. Oops, I've spoiled that he calls, but it's obviously not a crazy call or anything. But just to talk about it here from Kevin's perspective, do you think Kevin is expecting to face a river donk, and when he doesn't, he can then value bet a bit wider? Or do you think he's
Yeah.
still concerned that his opponent just rivers a 9, checks it over
I
to him?
think it's fair assessment. I think it depends maybe a bit, you know, like if Daniel is like maybe thinking about it on river, maybe changes his mind. You know,
You mean
I don't
time
know.
banking in game?
Yeah. If he snap checks, maybe he thinks, oh, maybe he doesn't play donks, and then it gets more thin with jacks. You know, if he time banks and then checks, maybe he's like, okay,
Yeah,
he does
it's
play donks, just
a
doesn't
very
have the hand
good
for it.
tangent that you've just alluded to there. This is something I think about quite a bit in PLO because there's so much donking in PLO that
Oh, I bet.
intentionally balancing some time bank in a spot where you will donk in general is a good move.
Yeah.
But you can also do the exploitative snap check, like you just said, because
Yeah, for
people
sure.
will read into the snap check as, oh, he might just not donk in this spot.
Yeah.
And then it makes their bets a bit thinner. But yeah, you know, you can also get opened up to being exploited if they know that
mean-
you're doing this purely for a different particular reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty, right? There's like so many levels of leveling that you can like, and if people read into it, it's very fun. I think. I think it also like maybe you can also like think a bit about Kevin, right? If I snap checks it, if snap jams it, if Daniel checks, it's maybe also like maybe less like super strong hands. But
You got
yeah,
jacks as Kevin, automatic all in. What's your feeling?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it. I think I'm thinking about the leveling there, man. Well, maybe it's time and be like, how much is he leveling me? You know, like at what meta is he at? Or trying to figure it out. And if not, I don't mind the value jam. You know, you're not beat a lot here. Like some 9x, okay. Maybe if you have a jack which blocks like, or like 10s jacks which block like the 9x suited, you know. Maybe aces or like whatever, if you have kings which block the 9x suited, you'd rather jam than not, you know, like if you have like kings, you have like the club and the, what is the other one, and the heart, then you block all king and 9 suited, then the jam makes more sense, right? But I think you can go thin here, especially you expect Daniel to call 6-7, sometimes 6-7-8, pocket 8, you know, maybe some pocket 10s or something. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. Kevin is going to show up with a bluff that I didn't really expect. Maybe have a little comment on what you think of the bluff. So
Wow.
for turn raise, maybe a
Yeah,
little
it's a decent line.
unintuitive.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit unintuitive.
Would
Yeah,
you guess
I
it's
think
solver approved out of interest, or would you guess it's not? Always nice to be put on the spot where somebody later
fucking
can
hell,
check
man.
and say, "Ah, this guy's a fish. He didn't know what he was talking about."
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I wouldn't think it's solver approved. I'd just call it, I think. Like, I mean, you block like the river bluff. I kind of see more. But the turn raise, don't really see it, man. Like, I don't see the benefit of this hand over like some 10x or something, you know. Or some like first, if the ace hits, you know, you still like you can call it. If the ace hits, you can still cooler some ace 10 or something. Some ace, I guess ace 10 not that much range. Maybe ace queen or something if it finds a donk. Ace jack, I don't know. And then like if you raise, like you're not really doing much against his calls. Like I don't know, man. Like you don't. I'd rather raise 2 overcards here, I think, rather than a deuce. But I mean, Kevin is a beast, so like he has his reasons for sure. I mean, I think the river bluff's also quite nice. You block ace 9, you block pock deuce. Like I don't know. River I kind of like, but turn is just like quite unintuitive for me. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah,
Definitely a weird one.
it's a beast line, man. Like it's a beast line. Also, beast call from Daniel. Fucking hell.
Maybe we
But,
go one lucky last hand. I think I've got
Alright,
just
let's
enough
do it.
time. You choose. So we got absolute top up. He's got a few hands. We got a CD9K
Yeah.
hand. We got a decky hand, Asian flushy hand, Cayenne hand, a couple of Kevin hands, 3 Kevin hands, 1 llama hand.
I do absolute top up. He's crushing the challenge so hard so far. I think it's fair.
All right, pick a number. Oh, actually, I could just show you this one. This one's fucking weird. This one's weird, man. Let's have a look at this one. This is good.
Okay.
Little blind v blind.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the strategy these days in this situation? Is it like range small, or are people betting massive as the 3-better? Like
Yeah,
what's
I
going
think.
on?
I mean, you can do both. I'd bet massive. I think bet massive, bit more preferred. But like, I mean, if you bet small, it's not the end of the world. Like, whatever.
Would you ever check this back?
Sure, seems okay. But betting also seems fine.
If you're betting this sizing on this board, does it turn the
Yeah, I
strategy
just
into a range bet, or is there still some checkbacks going on?
I mean, I'd probably range bet if I bet the size. Huh?
He's going to face a raise, kind of an awkward
Okay.
spot to be in here.
Yeah, I
Spade
mean,
versus
we have a
Queen 7.
7. We're not folding. Like, we have a 7.
Is the queen in our hand a negative? You know, like we're blocking
Ah.
some potential gut shots he might raise us with, or are we?
Yeah, but we are, but I think like a lot of his raises don't come from like the gut shot, right? He raises like, does he really want to raise like Queen Jack of Diamonds or something? Like, I don't know, man. I think like maybe even block some Ace Queen, you know, which is not bad, and then like I think he's raising also just some low shit, you know, some Puck Deuce or something, and then like I don't know, maybe a spade or something, you know, some hearts or something. So I don't know. I wouldn't hate it. I'm not like hating the queen or something.
Mhm. Does Queen 10, Queen Jack offsuit, do they defend pre-flop blind v blind, no rake, to a 3x 3-bet?
I have no idea, man. Sometimes you can 4-bet, you can call, you can fold. I think everything's okay.
Okay. So now on the two-tone turn you face, is that like a 40? Looks like a 40%.
Yeah, it's sus, man. I guess Nafua is saying like he's betting like still quite some ace-x here. Like I don't know, like I would think
ace-x of spades, I guess.
Yeah, maybe ace-x spades. Maybe just like some ace queen, ace jack still, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe also suggesting maybe he thinks absolute is like maybe play sometimes the big sizing, and then if he goes small size, he's like, okay, my ace 10 is good now. He'd go bigger if he had ace king, ace queen. Let me just raise my ace 10, ace jack, and just go for 3 streets or whatever. Who knows? But yeah.
Can you ever call with this hand?
I mean, why not? You have a 7. Like, I guess you call it flush draws, right? So you have a lot of calls, but like the sizing's so small, man. I mean, it's probably just a fold, but I can't blame him, to be honest. Like, fucking guys do too much weird shit. I just call, man. Like,
Yeah,
you block A7, you block Puck 7. Like,
yeah, King 7 suited as well. So, I mean, in terms of blocking effects, his hand is good, but in terms of equity, his hand is dog shit.
Yeah. Maybe helps a bit if you think like he's like maybe scared on the river, you know, or whatever. But okay, he just rips it.
Yeah, so he shoves
Fucking hell,
5,700 into 8,750.
Yeah, so I think now the question becomes a bit like, does he still have ace jack and ace queen? If he doesn't, then this hand gets way better to call, right? If he just ends up having ace jack, ace 10 here or whatever, which I doubt if he like reads too much into the flop sizing. Maybe it's too fucked, but
well, say I'm Nalfo and I have ace queen and I've gone for value here.
Yeah.
What the fuck else am I gonna do if I'm not shoving for 60?
Nah, I agree, man. I agree. You can go for like a smaller sizing maybe. Or you could just like, yeah, you could just rip it. I'd just rip it as well, I think. What else are you gonna do? But then maybe ace jack he's not having, right? Maybe like whatever, blocks ace jack or checks it or doesn't take the line on turn. So yeah. And then you'd expect also, you'd hope like he has some like bluffs which are quite unintuitive, right? Like he should find like Puck Deuce, Puck 3, whatever. Maybe some 8, 9. I don't know.
Who do you think's like, gonna win this pot, Chris?
I mean, by the way, Absolute is just running. I think Absolute's gonna be winning it. I think he has Puck Deuce here. Puck 4. Oh, dirty.
That's a bad beat.
Yeah, that's just dirty. He was on the right track, but then fucking missed the floor. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
quite a funny hand. I like this one.
Yeah, I agree.
I respect a man who just goes with blockers and doesn't give a shit about equity. In PLO, you can't really do that, but in Hold'em, you can.
Yeah, you see him have Puck 4, so maybe has Puck 3, Puck Deuce pure as well, right? And then maybe has some random, I don't know, right?
You could argue that the run out is bad if you're thinking a lot of his bluffs are these underpairs, like 2 consecutive low cards.
Yeah, true.
Could be a problem.
But yeah. But I mean, It's a game. It's a good end.
What did you think? Did you watch last week, Chris, and see C Lama critiquing your river sizing choice with this pocket kings where you 3-bet the flop? Do you remember this?
Yeah, I heard a lot of flames on this one. I don't even hate it in hindsight now, man. Seriously. Like also some of my friends are just like hating on it a bit, but I think like I don't mind it, man. Like it's a bit more of a street poker hand maybe, and like obviously in solvers maybe not ideal, but like I mean I got pocket kings, man. Like strong hand, just get money
Second
in.
month.
And like there's not much you could have on the river, but fair enough.
It was a super interesting hand. I also thought it was quite. It was a thought that got me thinking, at least when C Lama was saying that he would rather have seen a shove. Because
Yeah,
it
I
is
mean,
a believable way to bluff. Like, say you 3-bet the flop
yeah,
with 6-7 or
I
6-5
agree,
or
man.
whatever. You know, you
Yeah,
might
classic.
just rip it in on the river, and like he
Well,
might
it's
sit
like,
there with a queen and say, you know, I
oh,
blocked.
I mean, I kind of rate it to be honest. Now that I mean, I don't think I've seen his comment into it, but I like the jam is actually insane line. I actually like it better as well.
It's a fully
That
insane line. You obviously feel
that's
like pretty
line,
retarded when you just lose 250 or 300 BB to
yeah,
a set that the
yeah.
guy's just trying to
Yeah,
juice the
that's
pot with.
peace,
But
man. Yeah. Oh,
the
I like it, man. I like it. Next time I got it, man, I just riff it here. This is just like the game, though. You need like this kind of thought, you know, like which is not that easy to have, I think, because you know you played like hands like this so many times already, like similar hands, but you're rarely in a spot where you're 300 BB deep and then you're playing 3-bet flop, you know, and then to have this thought on the river that you're just like sharp enough to just rip it, which I think makes so much sense. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah,
It's
it's
quite a
tough to
unique
have.
run out as well. The running
Yeah,
like
yeah,
board
10,
pair
10.
cards that don't interact with
Yeah,
the straight, because he
yeah,
will have the queen six and queen deuce, and then be in
yeah.
this very strange spot where he thinks that they're like incredible calls. He
But
obviously
but
could have
this,
had that hand and chosen to bluff jam it against your smaller sizing too, which is I
yeah,
think why you called. Or was that one of the thoughts you were having, that he might, for the
yeah,
odds you're getting, he might just turn these hands into bluffs like 100% of the
yeah,
time.
for sure. I think this also just like shows the like just as a big part of the best players in the game is that they're just like so like sharp in like new situations which you don't expect, you know. If you get like a completely new situation and you have no idea what's happening, these guys will like figure it out the best. I think that's like the true trademark of like the best. Like Linus also just like very good at this. If he just gets a really new situation, he's just like gonna crush it, while a guy who is maybe very good theoretically and very skilled is gonna be very overwhelmed by the new spot he's in, right? But
Yeah, and everybody's playing like 4 tables, so it's not like you're just sitting there giving 100% of your focus. I mean,
yeah,
obviously you pay
100%.
more attention, but you might have some sort of things nibbling away at you on the other monitor.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, man,
But
thanks for joining me. We'll be glad
yeah,
when
of
you're
course.
back in the paddle streets.
Soon, man.
When are you back in Vienna?
I'll be back for the new year.
Okay, so you got the Christmas
Yeah,
stuff and all that.
I go home and stuff, and then
Yeah, nice, man. Well, thanks
I'm
for that.
excited already. Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm surprised Bjorn is actually playing.
Just probably feeling like enjoying some poker. Plus, I think he has some grand plans to get like a heads up event going, like a similar format for heads up. So maybe he's just trying to show some support, like a
Oh, nice.
give
That's
and
pretty cool.
take kind of idea. Not sure. Check this hand out. He's involved in this hand.
All right.
Going 3-way.
Mm-hmm.
Top pair. Maybe let's talk a little strategy here. So, what are your options here, Frank, in terms of sizing frequency? What are you going?
Okay, like multi-way, already difficult. I even watched a session recently on this exact like multi-way spot. I think the board was king high as well, but I'm pretty sure it's only small betting, and then no raises from the small blind, and then Kevin should play very aggressively with check raises, like raising a bunch of king X and like some other stuff, and not play really many calls at all, I think.
Okay. So as flushy with king 7, you're going to find a check back a bit, or you're going to just go ahead and bet?
I'm probably going to go ahead and bet for King 7. Maybe check some stronger kings and, I don't know, just like do whatever, freestyle it a bit. But I'd bet or check, I think it's fine.
All right. He's
I'd only
gonna
bet small.
he's gonna start with a check and a king on the
Alright.
turn. 2 more checks over to him. And now what are you thinking?
Now, I'm thinking my hand isn't really worth 2 streets anyway. Like if you bet here and Kevin calls, are you going to bet the river? Like, probably not, right? So I would probably just check again, but it's whatever. You don't really need to protect against much at all. So like,
He agrees and finds a check. Two more checks. I mean, surely
Alright,
checking is
now
no
it's
longer an
time.
option.
No, now it's value bet time.
How much money do you want to bet?
Um,
What are you
well, are
repping?
you gonna play? Yeah, like, are you gonna bet a 10 here? You're probably gonna bet ace 10 here, right? Definitely. I'd just be 75 probably, repping a good 10 or a king. I wouldn't have a specific size for pocket 4, so I'd just be 75. And I expect Dejan and Kevin to both check raise bluff me sometimes. But yeah, I'd just be 75. So far, so good.
So, if Kevin marks, how are you feeling about the spot that you're in right now?
I mean, I'm not thrilled about it. I know Dejan can be a bit splashy from what I've seen, and he's got a lot of potential hands to use as a bluff here. Will he use them? Is the other question. I don't really know. I've never played against Dejan. Heard he's very good, but yeah, I wouldn't really know how to figure out the spot. Is it a show table or not?
I don't think it is. Does that factor
Okay.
in your mind at
Yeah,
all?
I think definitely, and I think for the other players too that are playing this challenge, like no one wants to get bluffed on the show table, right? So everyone seems to be calling it like
But
a
at
lot
this,
more
in
on
the
those
same
tables.
vein, like say people are getting really active on this river, right? I mean, Decky
Yeah.
might not want to do that on the show table. He might only want
Yeah,
to do that
exactly.
not on the show table, which might make him tighter
Exactly. Yeah,
if it's a show and looser if it's not. But anyway, that's unfortunately not what happens. We're going to see Kevin ram it home over the
Alright,
top
I'm
here.
just. I mean, I would probably just let the boys have it here.
What's Kevin representing?
Kevin is repping pocket 6s plus, I think. Which he could reasonably have, but like I just don't believe it that a guy checks 3 times there with something good, because like, you know, sometimes if you have 6s and Dana has 4s, right? It just goes check, 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 and you lose. Like nothing happens. But Kevin is like a super creative guy and does like really believe in his own ranges. So if there's someone in the world that could have it here, I would guess it's him. But like, yeah, I don't really believe it.
So you just station off as flushy then?
No, as flushy I would fold because I'm worried about Dayan. But like,
But if flushy calls it, Dayon has to like range fold basically, right?
no, Dayan will still call pocket 6s, I think, because flushy can have 4s. Both players could have 4s,
Yeah.
and like,
But if
flushy can never have 10s or kings, right?
if Decky had 4s, he's probably folding, right?
Yeah, I think so. But if he has 6s, it's like a big difference, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he can't have 10s pre, right? It's a mandatory squeeze. Or is it possible to have
I'm
some
not sure.
little
I'm not
sliver
sure.
of TT?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's a mandatory squeeze, but like it's no rake, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if it's flats. I don't really know. I've never studied pre-flop here.
But yeah, very strange spot. Like you said, I mean, it's hard to know since this spot will never come up again, basically. Exactly how
Yeah.
Kevin is playing and whether or not he will have the correct frequency of value, considering how much he's risking. But he is going to show. Pocket trays for the little back rip, give up action. Quite a sick hand. This is one of my favorite hands that I saw.
Yeah, normally there's like, there's this thing of like, if you rep nothing, you have nothing until you get to high stakes, where then when they rep nothing, they like actually have it, always. But here he just reps nothing and has nothing again, and like, yeah, spicy.
Quite a cool one.
Yeah, but, I mean, nice line, but like, I assume Decky had nothing here also, right?
Decky had a 4 check raise bluffing.
Yeah, not surprising.
Let's stay on the Kevin topic actually. Would you like to
So
see
you
him?
know what would have been sick actually, Kaki, and like what used to happen like 10 years ago in this spot is like, Flushy would fold here, and then the guy that's check raised the 4, like if he has ace 4, he just calls, expecting like his blocker to now be so like strong that he can just call off here.
Yeah, that's pretty
With a
sick.
4. Yeah.
I think Decky respects the game too much to consider calling random bottom of range bluff. But
Yeah,
it is very old school to just sort of start sniffing around in spots where
Yeah.
you don't really have any business being there. But let's see what Kevin's up to in the next hand. Okay. He's going to go ahead and see, but I was going to ask you first, what's the deal with strategy here, just in general, on this flop?
Yeah, I think there's actually quite a lot of bets on double Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Not 100% sure, but like I think some bets for a small sizing is fine. Definitely wouldn't range check it by any means.
And how do you expect this rainbow low card turn to play into things?
Rainbow low card, I think we probably play pot. Maybe a small overbet is fine. Anything between 75 and 125, I would think, is fine. Not really ever checking this hand, I think.
Okay.
And blocking all the 10x and jack-x, I would assume.
So it looks like a 150 and a call.
Mm-hmm.
And now on the river 7, so I guess 8-9 being the primary hand that gets there.
Yeah.
What are you thinking as Kev?
I think my hand is worth 75% pot, and if I have, like, I'm not sure if 8-9 is enough to stop me shoving if I have like pocket 5s here, pocket 10s. I think probably not. So I would play some kind of mix between jam and 75, and I would put pocket kings into 75 always, probably.
Yep.
Yep.
Kev agrees, but gets shoved on.
No, this isn't. I mean, again, like Dayan's, he is actually a spicy player. Like I think he was quite nitty for a long time, but then he became like really spicy, and
He got
he's
rich,
probably
so
gonna
the
bluff.
spiciness
He got
increased
rich.
quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't want to fold here against the rich guy, really, but like, when you're thinking of bluffs, I assume he's gonna have some kind of hand with like an 8-9 blocker, probably like 10 as well. Like, I don't know, because pocket 10's probably just jams, so like the 10 blocker's not really that relevant. So he's gonna have some kind of hand with an 8 or a 9 probably, which is like what, 10-9, Jack-9.
You think he could bluff jam with the top pair?
It's reasonable, right? Because pocket jacks is less likely to just open jam the river, but actually do this B75, and you always get called by pocket jacks. So like having a jack blocker is not terrible. I don't think you ever want to have like the random king queen stuff. So like Jack 9, 10 9, 8 9, or 8-9 straight, but like
Yeah.
7-8, these kind of hands maybe.
So pocket kings ends up having kind of like unblockers, since you don't expect
Exactly.
to ever get bluffed by a king queen or a, what else is there even? I guess ace king, maybe some low frequency flat ace king.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and I don't think ace king's ever going to bluff you here. I think it's always, I mean, I don't know, but I think you're always going to use a pair, or someone who's trying to be in line will always use a pair, and they'll want to block 8-9, and they'll maybe want to block pocket jacks. So like, I think if Kevin's going to have like ace jack here as well, right? Probably all combos. It's getting a bit thin on the river, but like he's probably going to bet, and so I assume he's just going to do something like fold ace jack, call pocket kings, maybe call queens, and like he doesn't have pure kings anyway, right? Because he's like checking the turn, checking the flop, maybe checking the river sometimes. There's like all different options. So once he gets to this line, I think Kevin will probably call.
You are correct. But does he have the best
And
hand?
I think he does, yes. I think Dayan has 10-9 or Jack-9.
The double
7-8.
gutty.
Yeah, not really allowed, I would think, but
To bluff, you mean? Or to continue on the turn
yeah,
to an overbet?
I think the turn I think is also a fold because
Reverse implied?
on your 9 you get king queen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fold on the turn, and then like the river, like your 7 is just like it's just nothing really, and your 8 is like, yeah, the one blocker to 8-9, but like I don't know. I would be a bit more selective on the river and use this like 10-9, Jack-9 stuff.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, spicy. And I would expect, like, if you're Dayan and you see Kevin's got pocket kings here, like, you expect he's going to call, right?
If you see that Kevin has KK as decky, you
Yeah,
assume
you're not
he's gonna bet call.
I would,
I mean,
personally.
I'm a washed Hold'em player. Like, when I see overpair on a board where dude is repping sets and straights, like, I would imagine a lot of people would fold. But maybe this is like a mid-stakes bet folding type of hand. And at higher stakes, realizing that they don't want to bluff jam, holding a king
Yeah,
or a
well,
queen, then it becomes a decent call. But I like, for my level, I would say I could expect a guy to fold.
okay. But the problem is Kevin has probably just jammed all of his sets himself anyway, except for, like, maybe pocket jacks.
Right,
So,
so he
like, his
has a
whole
strange range of
is
bluffs, jacks, kings, aces, and stuff like
exactly.
that.
He's not just going to can't fold it all, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I
interesting.
don't know, like, I don't know in the heads of these guys, but, like,
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, man. Let's actually watch these guys battle again, because I have quite a funny hand here. I don't want to spoil too much. Pretty good flop. Would you ever donk here out of interest as the small blind after flatting a cutoff?
I wouldn't know. I think I don't really know how to play donk strategy, but the only boards I donk are like the low boards where we have like some kind of set
There's
advantage, or I don't know.
something that might apply in Hold'em that comes from PLO. Basically, in the small blind, your flatting range in PLO, which is reasonably significant depending on the rake and if there's ante, it connects very hard with higher, like 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, kings, like broadways and slightly below. So you actually do a bunch of donking, and even on a paired board like this, you would also do a bit of donking. And I'm not sure if this translates over to Hold'em. The small blind flatting range, I assume, will include maybe, I don't know if you would play king queen off against a cutoff for 2.2. Maybe you do, but
Yeah, I
suited
think so.
suited broadways definitely, probably 10-9, maybe 10-8 suited. I don't know. So it's believable to me that this is a donking spot. I ask because that is what he goes ahead and does, and it's not something that I was expecting watching Hold'em hands, but it's pretty interesting. And who knows what Kevin perceives this as. But Kevin is going
Yeah,
to
I mean, I can
find
believe it.
a raise, small raise, and I guess this is a pretty standard hand to want to put the doubler back on.
Probably the like most not optimal besides pocket threes, I guess. Even maybe even better than pocket threes, like yeah.
And so Kev is going to raise flop and call. Now this is where I guess let's discuss what you think of the following strategy. So 3100 in the pot, 8400 in the stacks, two-tone turn. What are you thinking as the decky?
I'm thinking, what does my range look like? I'm like, sure, it can have some tens, but like I assume he's also doing this kind of stuff of like some kind of pocket pairs and stuff. Like, I don't really know how the spot works, but he's not just gonna size around a 10, I think. And even if he does, like let's say he's got Jack 10 or whatever, and he starts piling all the money in, it becomes like too thin almost. So I would expect he's gonna bet third pot and pretty wide, but no idea.
Yeah, I mean, super tricky, man. I got no idea. Thanks for the input, is all I can really say. But he does bet a halfie here. It feels like one of these hands where, like, as much as the players might have looked at the occasional sim for something like this, like, they're probably out of their water a little bit.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
we
This
see
is
a
like
halfie.
the kind of spot where the guys that have battled like a lot of three-handed, you know, they really play these spots well because they come up pretty often. But most of the guys that are playing 4 to 6 max, like they just don't know, right?
No, for sure. I mean, this is a super deep one from my perspective. We're going to see half pot and Kevin Peels. And on river, thoughts? Backdoor flush comes in. I mean, you're not expecting too many backdoor flushes, though, I guess.
No. I would say it's like invisible enough that it's like it could be the 4 of diamonds, I would think. But maybe not. Maybe the way Kevin plays the flop is he's going to use a lot of backdoor flush hands. Yeah, I don't really know. I think I'd probably play block only as Dayan here.
Yeah, that's what he goes for. And he's going to get shipped on. So it's quite an awkward spot.
I mean, like,
just to recap the action, we get a small blind flag against cutoff, small donk on flop, small raise, 3-bet flop, smallish, call, bet the turn half pot, call, block the river, and shove. So a lot of action.
I mean, I'm not folding, not with this hand. I'm just like too pissed off, you know. It's like I've come this far and I've got ace 10 and it's like not that much more.
What's a bluff
I
that
do
you could give Kevin here, though? Or do you just think, like, oh, I can be chopping? And you convince yourself to call
No.
based on chopping?
I don't think that I can be chopping, but I think, like, again, I've never played against Kevin, but I've seen a lot of his hands posted over the years, and he's quite a creative player. You know, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he's just like, oh, I've got pocket jacks with a spade here and just jams it in, you know. Like, I think he'll always be able to find a bluff, and I would think that he's maybe like bluffing a little too much, or I don't know. I just couldn't be bothered to fold this hand. I've also taken this line as day in with like a bunch of worse hands. So I just click call, whatever.
Dayan clicks fold.
Okay, better player than me, I guess.
And he is shown. Well, he's not actually shown this hand. This is on a non-showed table. So this is rare information that the viewers are getting to see here. Very rare information.
My God.
The double float for I block you having value, sir. Jack 10 and King 10 suited blockers. Double float. Any comment, Mr. Builderman?
So I assume that the reason he's done this is because the way he's just thinking that Dayan's range is looking is like too many pocket pairs, and he probably thinks, or he would have thought, Dayan's only going to put his stack in with a 10 on the river. So he does this to try and like do this exact thing and make him fold pocket 8s or pocket 9s or like whatever stuff he has on the turn. Is what I would assume he's thinking, but like.
How does he call the flop in the turn, though?
Yeah, no real way. I mean, he's clearly got plans, right? And like, I like a guy that's got plans. Like, it's always good, and a lot of guys seem to have plans in this high stakes battle. But like,
this hand is super sick, super sick. I think I probably submitted this hand for the coolest plays of the week. This hand should probably win. You know, if you go out on a limb and peel a guy here with random drawing dead hand and get it done, you deserve to win something.
Sure, yeah. And also, when Dayan goes so small on the flop, he probably expects there's not going to be any big bets on the turn or the river, so he's always going to get the chance to do something, you know, rather than like you face B75 on the turn and then get jammed into on the river. Like you're always going to get this spot where you've got like some kind of maneuverability on the river, probably.
Yeah, like when
So
the
maybe this is
clicking
one
is
level
so
ahead.
extreme, it's I mean, yeah, on a brick river, obviously he could have got ripped into, but on the many flush completing cards, yeah, he's probably not expecting to see a shove.
Yeah, and also even on a brick, I'm not sure Dayan's going to play jam, to be honest. He might, but I don't know.
But isn't he in a lot of danger of over bluffing if he doesn't shove in like on a brick river?
Yeah, but I mean maybe, but like if he's got Jack 10 or Queen 10 and he jams and gets called, like I don't know how well it's starting to look. A lot of trips for better trips for the in position player, but like yeah, I don't know. Very very spicy one though. Haven't seen one
Very
that
sick,
spicy so far.
All right, let's see what this hand is. Hopefully you haven't seen this one.
No, I don't think so.
Little 3-bet pot, slightly deep. You can see a
Okay.
C-bet and a call. Okay.
I probably wouldn't have even bet the flop, but sure, I like it.
Yeah, if you do bet the flop with no BDFD, how does that affect your aggression going forward, like unblocking backdoor floats and whatnot?
And then it becomes like very very high prio for the turn, I would assume.
Even on this card though, where you have a bunch of gut
Yeah.
shots and the in position has a bunch of gut shots and stuff.
Less so on a 5. On all of the other cards, like more so, but still like. What size did he bet? B14?
Yeah, 40% on the flop.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like the spades now and 2 overs is just so good that I would keep betting with King Jack spades even on the 5. But like, yeah.
Sick, yeah. He agrees. He cooks up whatever that is. 2/3 pot.
Sure.
The flush man calls.
Little suspicious of the turn sizing, but it's okay.
Now
and
what
yeah,
are you thinking?
I would always jam the river here. Like I expect Fleshy to be calling the turn with ace queen here probably. Yeah, I'd always jam.
Okay,
Double
so
block it to 10x.
standard bluff.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't have bet the flop, so like my stack remains safe. But
you're gonna get looked
Ooh.
up by the classic. This is very old school, by the way. This takes me back to like 2010, where someone 3-bets you massive pre-flop, and you're like, "This guy has ace king." I call, and you just call all streets as long as there's no ace or king, and win a stack.
Yeah, for sure.
Old school call down here from the flush man.
Yeah, I remember we used to play full ring, and like this was like didn't really happen, and then we transitioned over to 6-max, and like one of my friends first day he plays 6-max, like this exact hand happens where the guy calls with like underpair to the board, and it's just wild. But yeah, I see why he called.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
The rest
I
of
might even call myself, honestly.
yeah, well, I mean, once you call the turn, I mean, you have to call the turn, to be honest. It's so tempting to call river, though.
If you have pure ace queen, like it's 16 combos, you know, like it's a lot of hands to be folding as well. Bot probably calling ace jack on the turn sometimes, so like, yeah, if you have a pair, just call for half pot or whatever it was. I've seen this hand as well, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
It's an epic hand, though.
Oh, no. I mean, the problem is you might have seen a lot of hands, but maybe I can find something you haven't seen.
I stopped when I knew I was coming on. I stopped like looking in the thread. But some of these hands they get posted in our discords, you know,
for sure.
like that one especially.
All right. Starting off here, a bet and a raise in blind v blind, 3-max. Kevin call, pretty standard. Turn a gut shot. And my question to you, Mr. Builderman, is how standard is it just to not fold here, top pair, with like, you know, how good is this for, basically? That's what I want to know from you. Because he c-bets the flop small, he gets raised. Obviously, you don't want to fold.
Yeah.
Turn, great card. calls again.
Yeah.
Is this something you have to call on the river? Is it optional? Like, is this just a straight up upgrade over ace king, ace queen? Talk me through that a bit.
So the way I would think about this spot is, first of all, like if I'm Kevin, like have I range bet the flop? He bet quarter pot, like I don't know if he's range betting or not, but he's bet and been raised, obviously has to call every ace. On the turn, I imagine start folding some ace-x already, but always call this. And then on the river, I think I would try and think like, is 2-pair plus enough combos for me to call? Like, do I have enough 2-pair plus on the river to call just 2-pair plus? If the answer is yes, then I would fold this. But if the answer is no, then I would like start thinking how my side card plays here. And like, yeah, you block the nuts, but like, how often is 3-4 raising? And like, is ace-4 better than ace-king? And I would say probably yes, but I don't know what Sonny's bluffs look like here. Like, is it 5-4? Is it like deuce 4, deuce 3? Like, am I now blocking his bluffs? Yeah, I'm not really sure. I would play this spot like pretty villain dependent, and against like a really good player or a bot, I wouldn't really know what to do. But I could see myself calling here for sure.
Yeah, like on second look, I think this hand is obviously just a call, I guess. But whatever, I don't know. It's still pretty interesting to me to see a guy get raised and blasted away and overbet jammed on the river and lot off with top pair, no kicker.
Yeah.
But he does interact
probably
pretty
a
well
fold.
with the value range of the other guy.
Yeah. The problem is if we're opening ace-4 off, you know, and ace-3 off maybe, then we get like infinite combos of like ace-4 and ace-3 here, and like calling them all is going to be too much, I think. So
True, yeah.
yeah, I can see what he's called. I probably would have called myself. And Sonny's line, if he raises the flop, if he raises the flop, the turn I would say is almost mandatory, and then the river, I would probably give up the river and use pairs for bluffing, but again, he's a better player than me, so whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting on the river. Like, you
Yeah.
kind of in unblocker zone, because you said maybe some top pair has to start folding to his small overbet on the turn. The top pair that would want to
Yeah.
fold would be like ace-6 and ace-7.
Exactly, yeah,
So
exactly.
he doesn't block the weakest aces that that Kevin can have, like ace-9, ace-10, ace-queen, ace-king.
Yeah.
And he's already got a lot
And
of
he doesn't,
hands that can bluff river right that have a 3 or a 4 in them. Like, assuming
yeah, or
sometimes he
even,
goes 3 with pocket 3s, sometimes he's got the deuce 3, deuce 4. He may even have 8-3 or 8-4. I don't really know what the deal is
exactly,
there.
yeah. He
So-
can have 5-4 offsuit here pre. He
Oh,
can
no
have
shit. Yeah.
maybe even like a deuce with a high card. Like I don't really know, but there's a lot of hands that have a pair that have exactly 0 showdown. So I would always prio those, but maybe Sonny knows something that I don't. Maybe he thinks Kevin is like defending the turn too wide, like I don't know, calling a bunch of 8s on the turn or like whatever. I don't know. So
Spicy one. All right, maybe we'll try and get lucky last hand in, Frank. Or we can do more. I mean, you got a little bit of
yeah,
time, right?
yeah, I'm good. I kind of always learned poker through like just talking about hands anyway, so like it feels very natural to me.
Yeah, I liked the pre-card runners days where it was 2+2 post or nothing.
Yeah, I've got some legendary 2+2 posts of me like learning how to play. Very funny.
Have you seen this hand? I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll jog your memory on the flop.
No, I don't think so. I mean, just from pre-flop, I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. So Llama calling a 4-bet here. 120
Yeah.
BB and a 50 BB pot.
So it's 150 effective.
To start the hand, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, standard.
Nothing to talk about here, or do you think sometimes raise is possibly a thing?
On the flop, I think there is nothing to talk about. At 100 BB deep, maybe there is some raising. I mean, again, I don't really know. I think pre-flop is interesting as well, in case like C-Lama plays flats in the small blind here, but as played, I think. I mean, yeah, there is an option for raising. I'm just not sure. I would have called, but. Yeah. Okay.
Check.
Check.
On turn, and a river 3 of hearts. What are you thinking? How optimistic are you that you can win the showdown when you see a turn check back? Or are people doing all kinds of creative trapping with AA and QQ and shit these days? Because these guys seem to show quite a lot of trapping.
It's aces with a heart sometimes, I think, and it's pocket queens pretty often, and then it's like some ace king checks. I assume Davey's gonna bet everything that like unblocks ace jack. I don't know. Alright, so unblocks pocket jacks and pocket tens. He's gonna bet some ace king stuff as Davey. As C-Lama though, I'm not really worried so much about what Davey's got. I'm kind of more concerned about what I've got, you know, and like if I'm gonna value bet my hand or like bluff my hand or check my hand or whatever. And like if I'm C-Lama here, like would I call the flop with ace king? Ace king with a heart, yes. Ace king without a heart, probably not. I would think my hand is just a check, to be honest. Can't value bet. And don't think it should bluff.
He does not agree. He says all in.
Okay. I mean, yeah, at like 150 big blinds deep here, I would think there's a bunch of like ace 4 suited, 6-7 suited, 5x, other pairs, ace king with a heart. Like all of these hands, I would think are in that range. So like to me, it feels like a really big overbluff, but maybe C-Lama plays the flop differently. Maybe he plays pre-flop differently. Whatever.
Yeah, I guess
I'm pretty sure it's a bluff, by the way.
If
Like, I don't think he's trying to get called by ace king.
Yeah, it is a bluff, I guess. Davey does not fold. I remember what he had. They're pocket queens. They did. Okay.
Nice. I mean, the way this C-Lama guy plays, maybe it wasn't a bluff, you know. Maybe he thinks like Davey always bets better on the turn and doesn't 4-bet jacks. Like, you don't. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but like, just seems a very strange hand to use. But maybe he values his 10 of hearts so much. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe he. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it comes down to the ace king thought. Like, if he somehow thinks that he wouldn't have ace king with a heart, then a bluff with this hand would make some sense. Because I don't know how often he's 3-betting like 7s, 8s, 9s against under the gun. Like, is it something that you do out of small blind? Like when you have the option of flatting as well? Do you just sometimes 3-bet?
I think so.
Yeah.
But also, like, sure, bluffing 10s with a heart looks nice here. But like, why is your 10 of hearts relevant? You know, like it's not. You may as well have the other 10s. You know, like if Davies 4-bet ace 10 of hearts or like king 10 of hearts, I'm sure he's just gonna double barrel the turn and call it off. So like, you may as well have 10s no heart here too. So
yeah, that's true.
Or maybe they fold the flop.
That's true. I mean, it doesn't do anything. The only thing it blocks is your opponent having pocket 10s with a heart, which could consider calling you, I guess.
Yeah, you should ask him about this hand. Like, you guys.
It's an interesting
talk, right?
choice. Yeah, I'll try and remember next time he's on a stream chatting around.
Yeah. Does he talk about his own like thought processes?
Yeah, I don't think he gives a shit about keeping information sharing or whatever. He doesn't care too much. I respect his style. He just plays loose in life and, you know, gets a lot of experience as a result.
He seems kind of funny actually. Like, I heard some of his stuff, and I think he plays like very well as well.
Yeah, for the way that he behaves, his play is quite good.
Yeah.
Because you would assume these are the kind of dudes like that, you know, they don't care at all. They just play like sick whale games usually, because they have quite a fun atmosphere, you know. It's very easy for a dude like him to get into a live game because he's chatty and personable and doesn't give a fuck. And
yeah, for sure.
He plays it well. I think he's got a good spot going for himself. All right. let's have a look at something else. Maybe the Mr. Top Up, the man who's currently chip leading this event.
Yeah, he's one of the only guys I actually know like nothing about. I don't think, maybe I played against him a little bit on ACR a couple of years ago, but I don't know anything about him.
He has
would
4-bet from cutoff against Matt, and they got
Yeah.
12.5k into 5,700 pot. I was going to ask what you should do, but I feel like this is just super standard bet here. You don't
I
get
think it's a
checking
range.
back.
I think it's a range bet board, especially deep. Yeah, just range bet it.
He faces this raise sizing, like full min. What
Yeah.
kind of hands can Matt expect Top Up to fold to this? I imagine it's a very
King
small
Jack suited.
King Jack
King
suited
10
with no backdoor though. I imagine, or because
I
a
don't-
backdoor would peel this size of a raise, surely. No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I mean,
What would you fold here?
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
it's
not many
only two
hands.
diamond hands, right? Basically.
in my games on GG 1K, you will probably want to start folding some overpairs, but like in reality, yeah, just fold nothing. I guess.
He does not fold. 6 on the turn. Matt 28.50 here. Quarter pot.
Okay.
Are you? This isn't time to fold now, is it though? Right? Like the odds are just kind of too good. Or are you counting how many outs you might have and considering mucking at this point of the hand?
Against Matt Marinelli. I would. I would call. I might even shove, honestly.
What would be the benefit of shoving, in your opinion?
Just getting some like random overcards to fold, because like we're gonna call Ace King probably again, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this spot's it's a bit beyond my pay grade, to be honest, but like I don't think we're ever folding.
He does not fold on the turn. And now on the river, kind of an interesting river. Like Matt could have out of small blind pocket 7s or pocket 8s and take this line, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's so little of a part of the range. Like I think you don't need to consider it. I think you need to think, can Matt shove pocket queens here? And I guess the answer
What
is
else
just
would he
yes.
do though with this much money already in the pot?
Exactly. He might. I guess because it's so little left. Like if you've got queens or jacks, you can just like suicide shove it in. I guess. But on this card, Matt is probably just never going to give up a bluff, right? It wouldn't surprise me if he jammed like ace queen of spades here. I don't think he should, but like.
Would you ever call ace king on this river, or would you happily let that go?
No, I think ace king is going to be indifferent.
Okay, so
ace king and ace 5 are the same hand, I think.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's just a tiny portion of the time that the opponent has pocket 5s. But could your opponent ever have ace 5 himself? Like play the flop like this because he has ace king and ace queen and ace jack and shit drawing dead. Kind of juice the pot. But then would he barrel it off for value? It's quite disgusting to consider that. Maybe though.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if he has ace 5, it's like kind of not really value, not really bluff. Like shove, maybe get called by ace king, but like never get a better hand to fold. So like I don't really know. I could if I saw Matt Marinelli had ace 5 here, I wouldn't fall out of my chair. That's for sure. And again, I wouldn't fall out of my chair if he had like ace queen of spades. So like I just don't really expect to see any give ups here. And again, it's like third pot, so I would just call if I have a pair. And then ace king, I think you definitely have to call some ace king combos here as well.
It's quite sick that whether or not a player wins the battle of this particular spot would come down to like some of these more edge combos like you're alluding to, because he has so much ace king. If he finds 0 calls, which obviously you can't even tell like from looking at one hand history if it's a split, then he might be the one getting run over, you know, in this spot.
Yeah. If you fold ace king here every time, then like Matt Marinelli could probably bluff everything. Yeah, ace queen. Seems reasonable-ish. Like I think when he check raises the flop here, he's probably not gonna have the like queen, like queen, king queen suited combos maybe. So then you have to have something like ace queen stuff, ace jack stuff. I don't really know again. But yeah, seems reasonable.
Yeah, nice.
And maybe he's jamming the river with no spades or something. He thinks absolute top up's gonna call where he has like ace king with a spade or not. Like I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe he's just thinking I've got a hand worse than ace king, so I'm all in. Like who knows?
What do we got? This is quite a hand. You've probably seen this though, right? Kaihan ace nine of clubs against rig deck. You've probably seen this, right?
Can I see the flop? I don't recognize it.
3-bet pot?
No, haven't seen.
Oh, okay, nice. All right. Sorry, so we'll watch through the action. %? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rigged does not bet. Is there any point as Kaihan betting? If so, what kind of sizing? Like, what are the thoughts here?
Yeah, I think this hand is gonna bet like quite often. What size did rig deck bet the flop? Because I think you
40%.
can like half pot range here. Okay, that's 40%. I would probably, yeah, just think about what size. Like, do I want to bet pocket sevens here? Maybe. I'd probably just bet like third pot. And ace nine of clubs, I would probably bet like pretty often. I think it's good. You got good equity. You're not going to get check shoved on very often, and like you get some like random overcards to fold. Ace 10's going to fold. Yeah, I think it's fine.
I got a question for you because this spot tends to be something that comes up in all forms of poker pretty often. Like paired board, the out of position player who has all the aces and other strong type of hands checks to you, and use a small sizing. Are they not supposed to start attacking this because they're quite aware that you can bet, like an underpair, you can bet an 8, and these hands are very, very, very dead, when facing a small raise. So
yeah, I think
what's kind of the state of the game at the moment? Like, do people still bet this spot quite a lot? Because last time I played Hold'em, I feel like people bet these spots way too often. Like they would just go range stabbing small in position, figuring like they don't get raised often, etc., etc. Kind of trying to control the pot. But I don't know. It feels like at least it used to be done poorly. Is it now bet less often, or what's your opinion on that?
No, actually, I would say the meta is even almost a bet more often. But now, once you get check raise, you just call a guy down with pocket sevens sometimes, you don't just wait for jack, whereas like people used to. But now people will just people actually find some pretty light call downs here, but I wouldn't say they stab the turn less, in my opinion.
If you do bet here as Kaihan though, and you get somehow full shoved on you, you can't call, right? Or can you beat enough random other bluffs?
At 100 big blinds, I would probably I would call. At 120, I don't really know. I think on a paired board you probably can't I think you have to bet fold. But like, I just don't think you get check shoved on. It would surprise me a lot.
Kaihan is going to check back though. That's already kind of interesting. And the river pairs the 4 rigged 2.5x rip.
Oh. Definitely could be a good sizing. Like I think rig deck can probably jam pocket nines here. Like actually, I'm not sure if he will, but I think
value.
he can. Yeah, for sure.
That's
like
very sick, yeah.
Hard for Kaihan to ever have better, right? He's like, I don't think he checks the turn ever with a jack or with like pocket tens or something. So I think in theory it's too thin, but in how people actually play, he could have pocket nines here. And then he might just think that Kahan's entire range is A6 here.
I mean,
Um,
if Kahan has made some sort of mistake and doesn't trap enough here and all this other kind of stuff, he basically can't ever have shit. Do you think he has to start calling some ace highs to this 2.5x shove?
I mean, if you did some kind of node lock so that he only ever checks the turn with unpaired hands, then yes, definitely. I think you would have to. And I mean, I guess he is going to call since he's in the thing.
Do you think he's going to be correct?
I mean, like, I think that he's obviously thought something about his clubs, right? And like his 2 clubs unblock turn checks or something like that is what he's thought. And maybe he's thought he blocks ace jack and jack 9 of clubs and stuff.
Yeah, it could be for sure. Rig deck has clubs, but he does not have clubs. He does not have the jack of clubs though. So rig deck looking for probably a check shove on the turn, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Expecting a lot
like
of shots and maybe even king queen and stuff to stab in position. I don't know what he was.
I don't like it from rig deck. River is like whatever. I think he correctly analyzed that Kane's gonna have like a lot of ace high here, but then he just got called by it anyway. I would have really liked the line if rig deck had pocket 9s there, or like ace 8 or something.
Oh,
maybe not
ace
ace 8,
disgusting.
but like king 8 or something, or pocket 10s, or even pocket kings or whatever. Then it's nice, but I guess if he wants to play balanced, sure, put in some low stuff too. But and Kahan's call is like, whatever, I guess. I don't really know. I probably wouldn't have called, but like,
Nice. I was quite impressed watching this hand. The only thing I didn't fully understand was the rig deck thought. But I mean, he's quite creative, and a lot of people might struggle to have a check shove bluff, you know, especially if somebody sizes up on the turn, because turn pot was like 4K, and like you're saying, maybe in position is stabbing small a lot. But what if he doesn't? You know, this ends up being like quite a nice hand to rip. Like if he bets small, fine. Like he might have to only raise smaller, right? Like say KN bets like 1K, 1200, whatever. He might have to raise to like 3K, or I don't even know what the right sizing would be. But it would be smaller, right? Because KN's saying, hey, I have a pair, and he's saying, hey, your pair has fucking 2 outs.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess he's checked because he doesn't want to like double barrel and get shoved on with this hand with 7-6.
Would be
but
tilting.
Like, you don't really get shoved on here, so like I would just keep barreling, and you get so many folds from like king queen off and stuff, right? But I guess he thinks king queen off's gonna stab the turn and he can check raise, so like, yeah, it's whatever. I think it's like,
I think it's creative, which is always interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, you want to play some turn check raises, so like put some hands with equity if you want. But I would probably just check raise with like random total garbage.
RTG, random total garbage. That's it.
Yeah.
You probably haven't seen this, I guess. That's why I pulled this one up.
Is it? Okay, it's not with Chrissy. Because I've seen most of the hands Chrissy's played.
Is this just some range bet spot? If so, what sizing can you range bet a board like this? Or is it getting a bit deeper, therefore can't really go ahead and execute that kind of strategy?
If you asked me a few months ago, I would have been a lot sharper, but like I don't, maybe 10-10x. I think 10-10x you can range bet, yeah, for sure. For maybe like B40 or something. But like the lower ones, like 6-6x and stuff, like you definitely can't range bet.
Okay. What is this then? Is that 30%?
This one I think you can. I think you can even range bet a bit bigger, but like yeah. And like this is the kind of spot like you just talked about with the turn check raises, where like I would start using these kind of hands sometimes for turn check raises.
You can't barrel like extremely. You can't range barrel this card, is that correct? Like for small?
I mean, after range bet in the flop, I don't think you can even on the king, because in position just like I don't think you fold a single king on the flop. You can bet very aggressively, but I don't think you can range barrel.
Say we have pocket jacks or pocket queens here. We're allowed
Yeah,
to
then
we're
we
allowed
can-
to go like 30, 30, 30, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember what happens here actually. Okay, we're gonna see a large bet.
Okay.
Is this what do you think about this? This is looking to get stacks in on the river, obviously, but in terms of strategy, is this a standard thing to have this kind of sizing in your arsenal?
Some people play this spot differently. Some people only play small. Some people polarize. One probably is better than the other, but like I don't really know. But clearly he's CD9K is saying that like maybe he's even like not polarizing and just wants one more big street with like pocket queens, and then he's gonna check the river. Like I don't really know. But I mostly face small bets here, I would say.
Hmm. Now, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean now it's like it's a really difficult spot to play. Queens and jacks are no longer worth anything.
Could they be worth a bluff?
No, definitely not. We have the way we've constructed the small blind is like we can have jack 9, queen 9, 5x, no, not 5x, but like pocket 8s, pocket 7s, pocket 9s at some frequency. Those hands we could bluff, I guess, but queens and jacks just check and pray for showdown. I think if you have queens and jacks and you shove, you don't really ever get a better hand to fold. Maybe some king x.
But it's quite hard to have like the 7s and 8s and shit, right, for the large bet that he took on the turn. I mean, maybe he can have like 6s, like taking that sizing, or maybe 7s, but it feels hard to have like 9s, right?
Yeah, but also if he shoves the river here, like he's not even repping ace king, right? He's repping a 10, I guess. Like ace king can't shove, I think, here.
Yeah, it's weird, right? You block getting called by a king, you block getting called by an ace.
Yeah, I mean, in position probably has ace queen, definitely at frequency, even versus the big bet. So maybe you can just shove ace king. I don't know. I think probably just shove and see. But like you're gonna get called a lot by a 10 or pocket 5s if you do that, in my opinion.
So what sizing would you consider using generally then?
I would play block almost exclusively.
Yeah. That's what he's gonna go for, and obviously he's gonna get shoved on.
Great. I mean, like in these games, like I would just call because like guys they're just addicted to bluffing. I would just call, especially if that's the guy who's winning all the chips, mate. I would just call, but like, from the theoretical view, again, I would call ace jack diamonds because you unblock all the possible king jack type stuff.
You think he may turn a king into a bluff on the river?
I think he should, yeah.
Well, because what else does he have to turn into a bluff? I mean, if he's called the turn with 9s, or is it just not possible really for him to call the turn with pocket 9s?
No, I think he'll fold 9s because of queen 9, jack 9. But like if he has 8s or 7s, for example, I think he'll almost always call the turn. Like lower the better here, above a 5, I think. But those hands, like they don't really want to bluff the river. Like they have no properties to block calls, right? Whereas when you got a king in your hand here, you block ace king or pocket kings or whatever may have taken this like river block line, and you also block a bunch of 10x with your king, right?
Yeah, sure. Because he might even bet some offsuit bullshit like that.
Yeah, if you got king jack here, you block king 10, you block jack 10. You know, like your king is worth a lot here. If you've got 2 6s in your hand, like it's just you shove to just try and win the pot, but like you don't have any relevance at all. You may as well have no cards. I would think is how the spot plays, but I like the call with ace jack.
Frank, you should be playing these games, mate. You've got the reads.
Yeah, I mean, like when I see this, I just think it's like a total punt. I'm like, sure, I would review the spot, and if I see the sixes is like a high frequency jam, then I would think like, oh, okay, I'm clearly wrong, or like wrong about the spot. But like it's not so often I'm completely wrong about the spot, but like I could be, you know, like I'm not saying I know this. Like sixes might be the highest frequency jam here, but like I would think it's not.